You're watching Lansdowne Raw, the voice of the fans. I'm Martin Prendergast, joined by Conor McAvoy as we catch up on the latest news in Irish football. Is Troy Parrott our most informed striker? There's questions over Evan Ferguson's fitness, and Sinclair Armstrong's finally off the mark, to the mass joy of Conor McAvoy. Very welcome, everybody, to another episode of Lansdowne Raw Live with me, the star of the show, with Conor, of course, as well, Rep Tracker himself. And while you're here, as part of our intro, of course, can you please make sure you subscribe to the show, follow us on all our social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, and yes, of course, even TikTok. And if you want some proper in-depth writing on Irish football, make sure you check out our website, lansdowneroad.ie. It's been a very interesting week for Irish football. Conor's with me here tonight. We're match day -1, Conor, for the women. We'll be having a chat about them later, but very welcome, Raw faithful. We're back on a Monday night, Conor. How was your weekend? Are you excited about Irish football? It's only a few weeks out now from Ireland's final games in the group, and we've got Obig to come up to. But yeah, very good weekend, wasn't it, in Irish football?
Oh, if I couldn't be better. Oh, I could be better. When I seen it at 3 o'clock since Saturday, I couldn't be better. Great. I'm buzzing. There's not much really to be said, other than I'm delighted with how the weekend went from an Irish perspective. But I can silence a few haters. Celtic, where are you at? Harrison, where are you? Celtic, where's actually we haven't seen in a long time. Rolling Stone, wherever he's gone. I hope he's alive and well. I hope he's in the comments there somewhere. Hopefully he comes back to life. But yeah, it's good to be back on. It's a pity Dave has gone missing again. Martin, I'm surprised he has slagness, because we started late due to some technical difficulties where we thought that my mic was banjaxed, and it turned out that there was something wrong with Martin's headphones, that he just had to plug them in and out. Was me figuring out. I was waiting for the message from Dave, because we would have started and the mic would have been banjaxed. He would have lost the plot. But anyway, good to be back on. And how are you doing?
Yeah, all good. Yeah. Interesting week. Yeah, trying to follow the football, of course. Interesting weekend, I suppose. No football for me at Enfield Town. No kids football. Was it was half term over here in London, so we didn't have a game on Saturday and Sunday. So really quiet.
What type of nonsense is that?
I know, yeah, but you know what? Because of half time, sometimes lads are away and things, so it kind of works out. You can come to a few games, but yeah. So I didn't go to Enfield Town's match either. Lost again, sadly. 1-0. But yeah, I tried to follow a bit of football.
Like Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I did try and follow a little bit of the League of Ireland action, and just to see how people got off. We'll obviously go through Obig later, see how the lads got on. But yeah, looking forward to the international window coming up. We'll have it all covered here, of course, on Lansdowne Raw, and a trip to Hungary. We've got the small matter of Portugal coming to Lansdowne Road first of all, and so I'm looking forward to that. It just doesn't seem, it seems quite frenetic, doesn't it? You know, all the Irish football stuff at the moment, and the League of Ireland coming into its conclusions. Very exciting, Conor. I've been following a bit of that with you and Dave, and it's all good. We've got marathon men involved in Irish football now, and helicopters to the game.
I didn't realize. I didn't see till Damien Duff ran it as well.
I didn't see that
earlier. Yeah, so he ran as well, but actually was thinking positively earlier, and I seen a TikTok. Someone made a TikTok about taking over France song. I don't know. It was like we slipped up in Scotland, and no one gives a chance, and until Randolph stuck it up, and Shane Long stuck it in that. I was thinking, well, no one's given us a chance, and Keller could stick it up, and Sinclair Armstrong could put it in the net. We will against Germany at home, and then we go to Hungary in the last game, and we get a point which qualifies us, because after they bottle it in Yerevan. So yeah, but positivity will be around that. And more importantly, there's another 17 World Cup next week, which is going to be massive. It's technically Ireland's first ever time in an under 17 World Cup. I know when Brian Kerr's squads were under 16s, which is now the under 17s tournaments, but technically it's the first Ireland under 17 team that will play in a World Cup, which will be great next week on RTE and on Premier Sports, which I will be very looking forward to seeing, because it's a very talented squad. But yeah, despite the sadness, despite how gutted we were after the last two camps, really, there's stuff to be positive about. And for the first time in quite a while, we've had no real. Because usually when we do these shows, Martin, we used to do like when we do our midweek review as well. Like sometimes you're like, oh, we have to get a midweek show done to not just talk about how lads are doing abroad. It's usually about, oh, what sort of controversies happened, or who's getting put up in front of their Oculus now, or who's refusing to go in front of their Oculus. Nothing. There's just been this. It's all been kind of positive stories, such as whether if a lad isn't doing well at a club, which is always going to happen. But in terms of like the usual mad FAI stories, they've been quite quiet as of late, which is always quite. It's maybe a good thing. Maybe gives a bit less to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, look, we'll have the Ireland squad, of course, for the senior men's announced next few weeks. So we'll be covering that here, of course. But, I thought a positive weekend, good start to it with Ireland's women getting a fantastic result, wasn't it? I mean, I know it wasn't a massive crowd in Lansdowne Road for that. But, and as a supporter of the Irish women's football team, of course, I've been at games as well. It's a totally different experience to going to the men's games. I was saying to the kind of family here watching it at home on TV that, it's a very strange kind of dynamic, the supporters, because there's a lot of young girls, women, obviously going supporting the team and stuff. But sometimes it's in a way, I'm not being dismissive of the football, but it's like supporting a movement in a sense. I think I've had that experience as well with Arsenal women's games as well. I've been to a few of those, Chelsea, Man United Cup finals and stuff. And it's not actually reacting to things that are on the pitch. It's just really, really excitable and screamy. It's not great sometimes. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm a fan of it because I want Ireland to do well, of course. But, overall, the fantastic result, wasn't it? 4-2. Well. I didn't expect that was going to happen. And, Katie McCabe in absolutely amazing form. Technically so good. I mean, the goal from the cross wasn't technically good. Let's be honest. It wasn't. It was a really poor cross. But she got away with one there. And but, yeah, they were very, very good. And, I'll be honest, I questioned some of the goalkeeping as well, as is quite a common thing in women's football as well. Sometimes the goalkeepers can be not great. But, really, really good, solid performance.
That's just genetics
for Ireland.
That's just genetics.
It is, yeah. But,
yeah, obviously you expect them, but a lot of time, like the one with Katie McCabe's goal and stuff, sometimes that's genetics. But as we seen the other night at the Brandywell last night, Brandon Fleming done the same thing as Katie McCabe, but he went to put a cross in and he accidentally put it in the top corner, and Ed McGinty had no chance. So it's just one of those things that kind of happens at time. But the only worry from the women's game out tonight, there was only 14,500 or something added, which I thought it would have hit 20,000, because I remember I actually put it on that morning asking, and was it Nick thought there would be at least 20 added anyway, and I was a bit surprised. But in fairness, when the girls represent Ireland, you can see how much it means to them. Every single one of them belting out the national anthem. Russia Littlejohn, the facial reactions to photos, it's like they're all like, everyone kind of sings it and has their own little calmness to it. You can see her. It's like one of the Italian players like screaming out the national anthem. But her played them. They got massive win. I didn't expect them to make. The only pity is like they only won 4-2. Like that's kind of it leaves the tie wide open for tomorrow night. So hopefully they can finish the job. But it's one of those ties. Is by no means is the job finished.
Yeah, and I'm hoping they do well. And it's going to be Katie McCabe's 100th cap for Ireland, which again is incredible. And bit harsh, I suppose she wasn't given the hat trick ball the other night, but I'm sure she'll be happy with the 2 goals and fantastic. And you just see the kind of camaraderie between the girls at the end. I like the fact they do all that stuff on the pitch afterwards. The huddle and all that kind of thing. And like you said, the anthems are crazy. It is absolutely brilliant to see. Rusha is just phenomenal with that. Proper leader in that squad. And so best of luck to them. I'll obviously be tuning in for that tomorrow. Hope they get the job done. But some other news, of course, with Irish football. They've just closed the FAI. Have just closed the away applications kind of portal in a sense for the Hungary game, but we're going to get 3,500 over there, which I think would be more than enough to satisfy demand. But seems to be good demand for tickets anyway, from what I've heard. So different categories again, 1, 2, and category 4, which are quite reasonable. I think €20, the lowest price tickets for Hungary. And one of the things just about that might be of interest to people is, these criteria by Hungarian law for that application was that, your ticket will have your name written on it. So very important. If you're not traveling and you are allocated a ticket, you won't be able to pass it on to anybody else. So we often get threatened with things.
Are you sure?
That is.
But are you sure that you will get done for it? Like, because say for example you got your ticket, are there going people at the turnstile checking your ID?
That is the case, apparently. Yeah, that will be happening. But your ticket, this is it's down to their laws and stuff like that. So, and there will be different, obviously, criteria, as I said, category 1s and 3 and 4. But that's what they're talking about anyway. But I think there'll be good support there for Ireland. And yeah, looking forward to that. And as we know, phenomenal demand for the home game against Portugal. I'm still being asked for tickets. Officially,
I've been asked a million
declared
times.
it's sold out. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to that game as well, because it's a free hit, isn't it? Really, we're going into that and nothing to fear in a sense. They're kind of qualified, haven't they? Technically, so
as I said to you, they will be qualified by the time our game comes around. Because I think Armenia are going to take points off Hungary, which will automatically mean that Portugal will have qualified for the group. It's like they have qualified, isn't it? Something that Hungary need to get 6 points in the last 2 games, and Portugal need to get 0. No, I don't think. And I do think Hungary would probably rather Portugal qualify with 1 game to go left, because that would mean that they would have beat Ireland in Dublin, which would rule out Ireland qualifying as such if the results go their way in Yerevan. But it's going to be an exciting one. I can't wait to get 6 points in November, because it's what's going to happen. Simple as crap as we've been the last year, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, we'll pull it off.
Well, I'm hopeful. Yeah, I'm still positive. You have to be. If you're spending so much money watching Ireland around the world, Jesus, you have to be mad or an extremely positive person, I think. But look, we've seen your comments coming in tonight. Please keep them coming in. The most interactive Irish football podcast out there. Please like the show as well. Give us a few likes on that. That does help us, doesn't it, Conor? The algorithms and all sorts of stuff like that. We're going to cover everything tonight. Want to get your views. Are you happy with the form of Troy Parrott? Sinclair Armstrong, as I said, off the mark. But a bit of news coming out of Roma as well, just probably some of the struggles with Evan Ferguson. And I'm going to throw a curveball at you first of all, Conor. A couple of management things I wanted to kind of chat to you about. Noel Hunt sadly lost his job, didn't he, at Reading?
Yeah.
You see that? Disappointed with that?
Obviously disappointed. It's never good to see an Irish manager lose his job. And has actually been quite a positive season from an Irish manager point of view. And he was one of the ones last year, actually. Did he come second? I think he came second in our Manager of the Year Lansdowne Awards as such. I think Alan Sheehan won it for fan vote, and Noel Hunt came second. Because he came in there last year, he was with the 21s, and he was the 21s coach, and he was doing really well at 21s. Got the interim job at Reading, and then done unbelievably well. They missed out on playoffs, I think, on the last day, actually, to Leighton Orient. Leighton Orient won on the final day and got playoffs, and they missed out. And then this season is just not going to plan at all. They've been really off the boil. They've signed a few. They've actually got 3 new Irish lads this year with Paddy O'Connor, Derek Williams, and Mark O'Mahony, but their season hasn't been up to scratch, you'd probably say, as yet. And I'm not surprised at this stage, because I know there was stories, what was it, 2-3 weeks ago, that they were considering sacking him after, I can't remember who the loss was against. And it's one of the things, when these clubs start considering it, they'll just wait for one bad result, or they'll wait for one loss, and they'll throw him out the door. And it seems like, unfortunately, he's lost his job.
And I haven't followed it too much from his dismissal, but have they pointed at anybody yet? Or
no, I seen they've been speaking to that. I seen one of them something saying about Bloomfield, that was the Luton manager, but that seems to not. I can't remember the other fellow was. Because I'm not too aware who the other guy was. But like they're 19th in League One on 15 points, 5 off bottom of the place Peterborough. They are 2 off Port Vale, who are in the bottom of 4, isn't it?
Yeah, managerial merry-go-round a little bit though, isn't it?
Yeah,
and I see Peterborough United as well. They got rid of Darren Ferguson.
Yeah, and Darren McAnthony, the Irish, obviously. He's the owner and chairman at the same time, isn't he? And he put out a statement about it was actually probably one of the more classier statements you'll ever see from an owner, really. But the thing is, Darren Ferguson's their greatest ever manager at that club, so they had to, if they're going to let go of something like that, they have to do it in a classy way. So fair play to him and the way he sat, because the thing is, they had to make a switch there, and because Darren McAnthony talks a good game in fairness, he talks a good game because he brings in a lot of very young up and coming players, brings them through and sell them on for a lot of money. Done that with Jack Taylor recently, Ivan Toney recently. Yeah, it's I'd say they'll turn around. Just obviously an Irish manager, you obviously are chairman and owner, but you'd much rather if he owned a League of Ireland team for all he talks about Irish football and national team and proven Irish football, but doesn't want to put money in his pocket when it really matters.
Yeah, but what's been interesting about that was then perhaps speculation like is where obviously Damien Duff, would that be attractive a move to any of those clubs?
Not Peterborough, no. I think Damien Duff. I think he's earned his stripes that if he would be going to the championship or something. I'm thinking maybe if the Blackburn job ever came up again, which they aren't doing terribly. They beat Sheffield United at the weekend, but no, they beat Southampton. Sorry, at the weekend. I think maybe something like that, but I think he's really championship or above, and even though he's doing his technical, I know he'll want to make more money, but I think he'll hold out for maybe a championship contract because unless it was like a Luton or a Cardiff City, where you're saying they are a championship club that are kind of in League One for season 2, like what Jack Wilshere's done when he's gone there. But I couldn't see Duff going there. Could you? Going to any League One club?
No,
really?
I don't think. No, I don't think so. But I just saw a few people, Irish fans, obviously commenting because of the link, obviously with Peterborough with Ireland, and
he's going to go to a team last in League One. I'm sure he'll do that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But we'll see your comments coming in. Please keep them coming. Any questions you got for Conor, especially about any of these up and coming Ireland players? Let's put him on put the testers out to him. We'll obviously be covering the under-17 World Cup. Looking forward to that next week. Got a few friends of mine actually going out there, so that's going to be interesting. I'm sure the lads will be well supported, of course. It's going to be a massive experience. And yeah, I've been listening to a few different podcasts recently, and it's amazing thinking back. I was listening to a few about previous Ireland's qualification campaigns and things like that. And we cover it, of course, on the show as well. But just it's so disappointing that we've not been a World Cup since 2002. And when are we next going to get one? We were so close in the past, and some of these campaigns when you look back, and again with this playoff is going to be it's very difficult to get, but it's just these World Cups are getting harder, aren't they, Conor, to qualify for, even though they're getting bigger. It's madness, really, and people
just there's so many good teams.
Yeah, it is. It's just how many teams have improved, and I know we talk about Irish football and where the improvement is, and recent results like the Pharaohs getting good results. Teams aren't they can kind of play with a very good system now and things like that, and yeah, it's just amazing really thinking about it, and how close and heartbreaking we've had some disappointments in the past. As I said, see all your comments coming in. Please make sure you have subscribed to the channel, and if you do want to support us a little bit extra, we do have Lansdowne Raw Plus, which is where we provide some extra content for you on a weekly basis. We've got State of Play, we've got Conor gives his team of the week on there, don't you, Conor? And we've also got some of the retro shows as well on that. So we thank you for your support of that. It really does help the future of the show. And we're looking forward to catching up with everybody again on our travels in Dublin in a few weeks' time, and also obviously in Budapest as well on the 16th of November. We'll be coming on to OBIG soon, but let's just chat about some of the main kind of players from over the weekend who've done particularly well, or even speculation we've heard about. One thing I'm going to be a little bit negative on this. Conor, you over the weekend said about Dewsbury Hall, a player linked with Ireland. And
did I say about it?
I think you did. To be fair, but I think he did say, well, it was just speculation, wasn't there, that the FAI were going to be approaching him, and that obviously then resulted in a statement from him saying, respectful of Ireland. Basically, I'm kind of paraphrasing now, but he has said, his heart is set on playing for England. So that one puts that to bed, nice and quick. That does raise a bit of speculation though, and debate on Ireland. I think most Ireland fans have been quite happy that that's just kind of ended that kind of debate or chat about it, that he's come out and said, look, I'm not going to take caps away from anybody else. I'm not looking to play for Ireland. England's where my heart's set on. I can understand that. Fair play to him. Any thoughts on that one? A fantastic player. Would have been suiting us down to the ground, but any thoughts, Conor, on that one?
Yeah, so obviously he said that his biggest dream, his aspiration of his career would be play for England, and it always brings out, doesn't it, that stupid line from people like, oh yeah, that's what all people that were born in England think about playing for Ireland. But the reality is, it's not. He's just one that's born in England, one grandparent that's Irish, and has decided that England is what the nationality feels, and that's what you have to respect, because you get a lot of lads will say nothing, and they might think they'll hold out to see if England, and they would look at it as a second option. But he clearly just thinks I'm focused on England. I'm at a club like Everton where if I do well, I could get a chance with England, and he's put that ahead. And he said in the interview that Ireland have been trying to get him for about 5 years, and I'm not surprised by that because of how good of a player he is, and he would walk into our team any day of the week because he's superb. But I'm glad he's put that to bed, to be honest, because I was sick of seeing comments about it. And it was obvious, like, that if he wanted to play for Ireland, he would have played at this stage. And like, for his point of view, like, he's 27, like, he's not getting any younger. Like, if he's going to play break into England squad, it's going to be now. And if he doesn't get in the next year or two, I don't see him ever getting in. So I'm glad he's kind of just made where his priority is, and he'll focus on that because he clearly sees himself as English, and you want people who see themselves as Irish that are born in England or born elsewhere around the world that represent Ireland. Because as much as people who like to be, I wouldn't say the term is racist, but like to be just bigotry and towards people that they can't be Irish, if just don't have an Irish accent, as you know yourself, Barton. Probably people try and slag you about that, but yeah, he is. It's a pity that it's obviously when a player that quality is like always, especially when they have Irish heritage and they see themselves over English than Irish. But you have to just respect where he is, and like at least it means we can focus on people that feel Irish and really want to play Irish. Like we've seen the likes of Kevin Kilban over the years. Even like obviously Paul McGrath was born in England, but we all know he's Irish through and through. In recent years, like if Finn Azaz playing for Ireland, who sings in a national anthem, which is a big thing. Even like the likes of Anselmo Garcia, McNulty, um, the list could go on and on of lads. David Connolly obviously was a big one as well, who still speaks every day about Ireland on his timeline. And if you try to say that he was English to a man like that, I'm sure he would not take that very lightly. But yeah, I know what you think about Martin. It's probably quite similar to me, is it?
Yeah, it's similar to you. I mean, look, I think a couple of things on that though. I think it's you hear Kilban talk so glowingly of how he feels Irish, and it's not a debate, and I don't think anyone's ever questioned it. Only idiots on Twitter, and he's put them in their place. Alan McLaughlin spoke fantastically well over the years as well. Let's not forget the late great Alan McLaughlin got us to a World Cup in 1994. He got a call up. His fantastic book actually. He got a call up for England's under-21s. And then he got a call up for Ireland, and he was delighted when he got the England call up. And then he opened the second envelope, and it was Ireland. And he just rang his mum and said, "I've been called up for Ireland," and it was no debate. So, I think it's so important, and it's something actually I was going to come on and chat about Keith Andrews a little bit, because this is something I think Ireland really felt they had to work on, bringing people in young and making sure they feel part of it and stuff. Giving them a fantastic experience at under 15s, 14s, 16s level, bringing them in, making sure they feel part and representative of Ireland, understanding what it means to play for Ireland. Yes, the anthem's obviously important. We talk about that a lot. But it is just giving that right cultural environment. I mean, we've had players in there in the past who, sometimes I always used to question, even some of the lads, senior players came to it late, getting international caps, and I would question it, whether it was something that they really felt in their hearts. And I think that's so important if you want to get the kind of also the welcome from the Irish-born players as well. I mean, fantastic history of players who've been born not in Ireland, and from all places, obviously, who qualify for Ireland under different rules and family allegiances and things like that. So it's so important that we embrace that and understand it. I think the FAI have a massive role to play on continuing that, but we've got to face facts as well as supporters that we've got a number of players with like African ancestry now, who are making massive inroads in the squad. They are qualifying for different. They can qualify for different countries, and it might just not work out for them for Ireland. And we've seen that with England as well. But we've got to be embracing and welcoming of that, and not be so dismissive and hammer them for those decisions or their hesitancy. I think at times, make sure that when they're in underage level, that they're having the best experience possible, and they will find it very difficult to lead that safe Irish environment where it's all about the culture and things like that. I think we've got to be very important how we are, especially this day and age now. And we talk about Heads in the Game, a charity that we support on the show. But it's so important that mental health and things, and how, social media, it's just, we have a massive responsibility to play. I'll go on about that a little bit later on as well, in relation to a few Ireland players. But, we've got to just be patient. Some of these young players, they can qualify and be called up and have that conundrum and pressures from family and agents to perhaps look at different countries that they can play for. So got to be careful with that, I think.
Yeah. And it is an issue, like, because we say about the Declan Rice situation in particular. If he
Yeah.
would have asked when he was 19 or 20 or even 18, who you want to play for, who you can play for, and he would have said Ireland, and he would have said he felt Irish, and that would have been his only focus. And he actually was, like, you can see he was brought into the setup. He was made to feel very Irish. He really embraced it. He felt Irish, like that was him. And then all of a sudden, things changed as he got older, and obviously money became an object in his life and stuff, and it kind of, obviously Martin really played a big part in that. But away from that, it was other reasons that you can't really, some of them you can't blame anyone else for, bar him being a snake and not being loyal to the country that done so much for him. But yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
but I mean, but it's
there's
an
certain
interesting time that, like, and again, one of the things though on that time though, let's not forget that, when England became calling there as well, it didn't help with James McLean coming out and being a bit of an asshole in on social media land and giving comments and that would definitely impact you. And even Roy Keane within the squad, and how all that time that was all kicking off at the time, and Harry Arter, John Walters, things
But
like that.
still, I still think if you feel Irish, which he did
Yeah,
feel
you
at the
do.
time, and he did, and he all his focus was, and his family's only focus was he was playing for Ireland, and we all know that his
Yeah, it
family
was.
still
Yeah.
wanted him to play for Ireland when he made that decision.
Mm.
But as when new contracts are offered, if you play for England and a sponsorship deal suddenly arise, if you decide, oh, you'll play for England, you get the sponsorship, things do change. But like even in the modern time, like a lot of lads born in the north, Catholics in the north, very proud Irishmen, have become gained a real, like you'd say, a link and a connection to the north while it's playing for them. It seems like there's a new identity in the north. There's people from the north that are proud to be from the north and represent a small, just because it's not a country in
Yeah.
our eyes, but like a small national team, and they really enjoy doing it, and it's part of what, and they don't like playing for the north isn't seen as a second option to them anymore. They enjoy doing it, and because they've been in the setup and they've been made to feel very welcome now compared to what it was back in the day. They are happy to go and represent the north. But like, obviously, if someone feels Irish, you want them playing for Ireland, and there's only a certain amount. As much as people want to blame the RFI, there's only a certain amount the FAI can do and build connections. And as you said, it's about trying to get them in as early as possible. If they are born outside of Ireland, then maybe their initial connection isn't. Maybe their parents aren't what you would say yours are like, Martin, or what you're like with Keane, where you're telling them they're Irish and bring them to Ireland games. Or just saying, oh yeah, we support Ireland, and you can support England as well if you want. But if they're playing for Ireland at under 15, under 16 level as well, I'm sure they'll build that massive connection with Ireland as well. But it's still a complex matter, and it does take times. But yeah, the only thing is, like, you seen with Kieran and Dewsbury Hall, like he did say about, actually, because I only was there when I was looking it up there a couple of minutes ago, saying about Ireland been trying to get him play for about 5 years, and he said he made his feelings known in terms of, look, I don't want to make my decisions. I want to keep playing my football, concentrate on football. Whatever happens, happens, which makes you think with someone like that he doesn't feel Irish at all, and it's just a second option, which we don't want at the end of the day. You want people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
are very proud to be Irish, and like, it's a bit like the Steve Bruce thing when Steve Bruce was going to come into the Ireland squad for the World Cup. Who was partnering McGrath? Who was McGrath's partner for that World Cup?
What, 94?
Yeah. Who was the center?
Well, Moran was in the squad. God, why my mind gone blank on that? I don't know.
But if you
Just
say,
can't
for
think about it.
example, someone put it,
Yeah.
say for example, Kevin Moore missed out in the World Cup. The
Yeah,
reality is someone that feels English and was only playing for Ireland
Mm.
because he had the option to come and play for World Cup, just to get a cup, playing a World Cup, just to say he played in a World Cup. And he, in reality, he didn't have the connection to the country, because if he did, he would have played for Ireland before that, because he was good enough to, like. So, like, you have to be careful with them sort of instances. They're the sort of people that can ruin that connection as such, that a lot of lads have. But for every like Steve Bruce, you have your, you'd say, what, Callum Kavanagh, Graham Kavanagh's son, who obviously he was born in Wales, lived in England his whole life, speaks with a thick Dublin accent, and like, he's over, you wouldn't even question what country he's from or what country nationality he feels. So yeah, it's one of those ones, and you just have to move on, and thankfully just say thanks for saying that, Kieran. We appreciate your honesty, and we'll move on to the next.
Yep. No, I mean, it's an interesting debate, and it's one that we've often had on here as well. But yeah, as we said, it's how you get your views. The Raw faithful who are watching along, please let us know your views on that. We've had a few comments already, but yeah,
and reality
great
is,
debate.
his name is Kieran Dewsbury Hall. It's not very Not the most. It could be true. I don't know how he called it, but like Kieran in Dewsbury Hall is probably the most English name you'll probably ever hear.
Sounds like that's where he lives, in Mansion or something. Right. Another player we're going to just chat about. I've got a few quotes actually about him. A little bit worrying. This kind of news out of Roma is our Evan. Fantastic. 21 last week, wasn't he? But, still struggling for a goal. He was an unused substitute in Roma's 1-0 win over Sassuolo on Sunday. And we had a few. Sassuolo. There you go. And Roma struggling in front of goal. And we've got a few quotes from their manager Gasparini. Looking already at the January transfer window, speculation linking him to Man United player trying to bring in. Who's it Zerski?
Zerski,
is it? Yep.
Yeah.
But he said ahead of the game, he said, just spoken about Evan Ferguson. He said he needs to be an important factor for the future. It was his first really hard-working session. This is in relation to training session, but unfortunately, he also got a knock to the ankle, and he's on the bench today. But I'm not sure if he can play. So in the Mirror, this is courtesy of the Irish Mirror. That would suggest the 21-year-old still has a big role to play moving forward, as long as he can shake off any lingering injury concerns. But reports from Italy suggest Gasparini is already plotting to shake up his attacking options. And then it goes on to obviously say that he's linked with Zerski. But is that anything to be worried about, Evan? I mean, we had this injury troubles last year, but he's in flying form for Ireland, of course. So should we be concerned?
I was thinking the other day, and I was thinking when he wasn't starting and they didn't play Dobbik again, which obviously shows they're not happy at Dobbik, how he's doing when he's fully fit as such. And I was thinking, Evan's not playing at all. I'm worried. And then someone sent me the quotes after, which were actually from, I think it was the pre-match presser, where he basically said that Evan had a bruised ankle or a knock to the ankle, and they were unsure whether he would be fit to play. And he did say that was the best training he had, really, wasn't it, the day before? And obviously he must have picked it up last minute. And actually, I don't know if you want to scroll up, I think it was Kevin in the comments. Martin said about he was in Italy last week.
All right, let me and he was, go on. Yeah, keep talking.
He was saying about that he was in Italy last week, and they said that in the papers that Gasparini wasn't happy with how the condition that Evan came back from international duty was. So it could have been one of those situations where it was that he wasn't fully fit going out of Ireland, which actually was reported at the time that he was going to be examined. But you remember he missed the last game because he was that ankle injury, and he went and went away and played 100, and he didn't play 2 games for Ireland, so he played 170 minutes, wasn't it? Across the 2 games, and obviously he's taken his toll on him. He's played very few minutes. I think he's played 10 minutes in total, really. I think he came on against Inter last week, and Gasparini's unhappy with the condition. He came back, and which shows that as much as people want to slate him and say, oh, he's injured, he played through an injury to play for his country, and that's all you can really ask for, lad. And he got a key goal, and he was a passenger against Portugal because he just couldn't get in the game. And you could see why. Maybe that's why he couldn't spring off the ground, because you were thinking at times he's mistiming these jumps. And maybe is it the worry of landed on your ankle and hurting it, or is it that he can't get the power off the jump? But it's like, I feel because he's getting abuse from people for no reason. If you want to read that out there, Mark.
Yeah, so this is from Kevin O. Who's one of the. Thanks for watching, Kevin, this evening. But this is really interesting. This is why we love doing the show. It's so interactive. Kevin O. I was in Italy last week, and both of the sports newspapers were saying that the Roman manager was critical of Ferguson's condition after coming back from international duty. He goes on to say it was stupid by Homer to flog him against Portugal. They were suggesting that Roma might send Ferguson back in January if he doesn't start scoring, and that's kind of a little bit referring and been picked up by the Irish Mirror there. I did say though, Conor, I saw him in the Portugal, the team hotel, before the Portugal game, and he did seem kind of shadowed himself, wasn't buoyant at all. Like, and in hindsight now, I'm thinking, what was he carrying an injury? Was he actually in pain? Thinking, geez, I'm struggling here, and then they jabbed him up, don't they? And they send him out to play. And he was very poor that night. Now, I know we weren't going to have an awful lot of the ball, of course, but I was very disappointed in his performance. As I said, though, I'll caveat that by saying we didn't get a lot of good passing ball up to him. Spoke to Ray Houghton on the way back. There's a big name drop, picked that one off the floor. But I said to him, he said the timing was all off, didn't get a lot of quality to him. Very difficult in that kind of role. And we saw that against France at home when he was kind of first kind of thrown into the fray under Stephen Kenny. So I felt sympathy for him, but we know what he brings, and fair play, playing injured, playing jabbed up with the painkillers, I assume, and doing that. And a lot of the lads are doing it because, to get to a World Cup so special, and it comes around
No one ever is
not very
100%,
often.
Martin.
No, they're not. No,
No
they're
one
not.
ever is 100%. You're very fair to get a lad that's 100% because
Yeah.
they're training what they're not training 5 days a week because the amount of matches they play, but they're training 3-4 times a week with 2 matches a week usually. Especially when you're at Roma, when you have European football and the intensity of Italian training, and especially he's adapting to a new climate of life, new weather. It's going to take a lot for him to get used to what playing in 25 degrees heat come October, November. But like it is like as you're saying, like maybe he was like because you don't know what goes on a lot in a lad's head. Like he's been through a couple of months. He lost his grandfather, who he was very close with, and then
Yes.
the fact he's picked up that ankle injury again, which he picked up and think back to when Fabinho done it to him, which is actually was if you think back, Martin, that was pre we played France with the game you're on about at home. It was was it a month or something before that, and he got back in time for that, which is quite I think it's kind of been lingering all since then, and maybe he's been playing through pain to try and get himself back to fit. And all he needs to do is like it's just I think it's just a bit harsh on him because like people are already not scoring. He was playing really really well for Roma before he picked up that what was the ankle knock against, and he missed the Verona game before the international break, and they probably aren't too happy with how the international break, the fact he went and started both games for Ireland after not being fit, and they're probably holding it against him thinking, we're not going to play until you're fully fit, and we have Dobbik there. We can play Dybala as a false nine. So I think people are just being a bit too harsh on him because we all know how good he is. Like he does stuff in an Ireland shirt sometimes where we haven't seen any Irish striker since Robbie Keane even get close to doing. So I think it's just a bit over the top, the reaction to it, and I just hope that Gasparini's not going to hold it against him, that he went away and kind of maybe went away against Roma's word for going and playing for Ireland whilst he wasn't near 100%, because the thing is it's different because like if you're 85-90% you can get it out okay, like you might be a bit sore after, but clearly he's probably at 60%, 55% of what his max capability is athletically anyway.
I mean, I think one of the things in that Portugal game, I was thinking, like the likes of the kind of game it was going to be, and even thinking about this question, putting it out there to the Raw faithful watching along tonight. Thank you again for your support. But do you think that when we play Portugal at home, it's going to be a very similar kind of game. They're going to dominate the ball, I'd imagine. Counter attacks are going to be essential, I think, for us as our kind of get out ball or our tactics. Is it worth like saving Evan in a sense, assuming that he's going to be 100% fit? Or 80%, 90%, wherever it will be. Shall we save him for that Hungary game, which is the more crucial game? And perhaps then, we're going to talk later on about the fantastic getting off the mark for Sinclair Armstrong. Is he the one to play in that game, or have even Adam Eder? Troy could lead the line there, of course, as well. We've got options. Do we have to look after Evan and think we need you in 100% form and ready for that one game? Give us everything in that one game. Don't worry about Portugal because we have others. It's very unlikely, but we have others and we've got a different game plan. That's just a question. I'm going to put that out to you, the Raw faithful. Let us know in the comments what your views are on that. Also, just wanted to give a shout out, of course, to Troy Parrott. Before we come on to Obig, final little chat about him. Another 2 goals, was it?
Yeah, and I missed penalty.
Oh, wow. Match ball.
It was terrible. It was a terrible penalty as well. It was shocking. It was a P roller like right at the keeper to the keeper's right. It was shocking penalty. And I seen an interview done after. And he said he was embarrassed with how the penalty went. But that's just how football goes, isn't it? Like as he said, like when you take that many penalties, you're bound to hit a bad one eventually. And he said that he didn't. He said, I don't want to make excuses, but the ball did kind of probably when he planted his foot, the ball might have came up off the surface slightly. It's
a flying form, isn't he? He's in great form.
Yeah, he's flying. Keeman's just said that Brendan Rodgers has resigned.
Oh wow,
has he?
Oh, I don't know.
Brendan Rodgers left. He's right. Brendan Rodgers has stepped down.
Oh, bro! Breaking news. Club statement.
That'll be coming out.
Brendan Rodgers leaves Celtic Football Club. Yeah, it's just been confirmed. There you go. Breaking news. We need a yellow banner for this.
Yeah, there'll be some Celtic fights. The thing is, that leaves him without a job, and the Ireland job most likely is going to be free after November. Is he an option?
Whoa! Listen to this.
Go on.
We've seen his interim. No. We are pleased during this interim period, former Celtic manager Martin O'Neill and former Celtic player Sean Maloney have agreed to take charge of first team
Oh my
matters.
god. Oh my
There you
god.
go.
Oh, it'll be for about
There
a
we
week.
go.
No way.
Does
For about a
Martin O'Neill,
week.
did Martin O'Neill ever win anything in pure football? Wow, Martin O'Neill back at Celtic. There you go. Breaking news. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. Wow, that is unbelievable.
Martin O'Neill.
Martin
God,
O'Neill back in
that's always
football.
good.
I mean,
Oh,
wow.
pass. Oh, he definitely tried to get right. I know I probably didn't because
Oh,
Sean Maloney was Wigan manager actually for quite a while there, so maybe that was. But that's very.
gosh.
I thought they would have
Wow.
went for Ange straight away, or maybe
Well,
they
you know,
might be there for a week and then
crazy.
Ange comes in.
Wow.
That's very Martin O'Neill.
Wow.
Jesus
And
Christ.
now Rodgers though, available in future. He'll be out when
That's what I was
he'll probably
saying.
be out of
Yeah,
a job.
yeah,
I would say for
yeah. End of November,
he-
Garland job is
yeah.
I think is I know
Um,
Dave was given out, but no, definitely not. But like he
fantastic
is,
coach.
he's
Fantastic
probably the
coach.
most successful Irish manager
Yeah.
over the last
Yeah.
20 years, really, isn't he? He's won the Scottish League multiple times, done very well in the Champions
Yeah.
League, done very well with Leicester in the Premier League. So he's the most successful. Like he's CV wise, he's the best Irish manager of the 21st century. Would he be?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, so
He would be,
or probably one of the most successful ever, really, Irish managers. So yeah, he definitely could be an option. I know what people think of that, but I think maybe it could be too soon. I think he's probably the type who want to stay in club management, and this style of play and mightn't resemble international our style just yet. But as Groves says there, could the FAI afford him? I think he's one of them lads, though, like that. If you got him on a million a year, and you got a sponsor, I think he would take it from to manage his country because people forget, man, that represent or managing your country is the most important thing. And as we see, Roy Keane always going on about it. Like, and like, do you see what Craig Bellamy managing Wales? It means everything to manage your country, and like it's everyone's dream job. And people might be willing to take because the thing is, you're not working the hours that you were working at a club. Like you might be getting if you get. Like, I know certain managers will get the same with their but like I wouldn't be shocked if he becomes an option, but he's just one of those lads that would you, as we've seen,
he's 52. And if Ireland don't get to World Cup, right, it is an attractive job, that Ireland job, for a European Championships, which Ireland will be qualifying for in our own country. That is an attractive job, and seeing different interviews last week. Kevin Coban talking very well with Paul Needham, wasn't he, on the FAI fan channel? And
FAI Irish Football Fan TV, not
I'm not being FAI, but yeah, whatever it was. No, but really good, passionate about how Ireland should be looking to get Lee Carsey now. Yeah. So it is interesting. I'm just going to come on to this quickly before we go on to OBIG, but Eamon Dunphy's column today, very timely. Actually yesterday, and he said Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane are all bite and no wit. And he's saying Keith Andrews is showing them how it's done. He's one of us. This is typical Dunphy for me. He goes, they think they're Brian Clough. They're not. Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane are two lads who used to matter. Now they're sitting on TV panels, scowling at the world, acting like they've still got the magic, and they haven't. And he's just having a proper habit, going all in. And then he's just saying how spiteful and nasty they have been. I don't think Roy has, to be honest, but just talking about Martin O'Neill really about towards Keith Andrews. I'm not going to go too much into that, but it was asked a question of us. But just one thing on Keith Andrews, because he's doing fantastically well, fantastic result. I mean, I can't even remember who they're not going to beat the big teams like Man United every week, but I don't know who they won against over the weekend. Who did they beat?
No, I don't know. Does anyone know if Dave's about?
Could be the worst champions ever. But anyway, one thing about Keith Andrews' fantastic man management skills is what we're seeing, and he will go through struggles this season, no doubt. You can't consistently do what he's been doing, but fair play to him so far. But one thing I've kind of been thinking about this with kind of the situation with John O'Shea is, people are kind of scathing of John O'Shea now, aren't they? Attributing kind of the negativity surrounding Heimer and his decisions and things like that. Some of the poor results we've had, of course. Yerevan in particular against Armenia. But John O'Shea gets a lot of criticism in that because obviously these coaches are trusted, but it does fall ultimately on the manager, doesn't it? And Stephen Kenny was the manager with Keith Andrews as second in the command. but we can see now when Keith Andrews is put in that job and given that responsibility, we can see what he can do. And that's where even on the debate of a future Ireland manager, like John O'Shea does come into it because he has been in there in the job now. And is it time for him to learn under senior managers and then go, right, we're going to give you the job now because maybe affordability on that one. But fair play, I think, to Keith Andrews. I mean, it is brilliant to see, isn't it? We want to see Irish managers doing really well as well. I know we do big talking about the players, but, we're just chatting about Brendan Rodgers, Noel Hunt, sadly losing his job. But we've got some fantastic managers who are now
I'll tell you what,
some fantastic stuff.
Do you remember I said there? Dave says Rodgers resigns. He's not re-signed for anyone, Dave. If you're watching, you forgot the apostrophe. But what I was going to say, what I was actually on about earlier. Remember you were talking at the start, and I was saying about that we haven't really had any dramatic stories in Irish football as of late, and it's been all quite just level. And I know we fucking Martin O'Neill's back in management. What the fuck has happened to this? 2025 isn't the real. Where is surely they must be waiting for Ange, because it could be, because surely he's just been told that you're only in for a week or two.
They have to wait for Ange.
I
suppose interim, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
That's crazy. And we didn't even get to finish on by Troy Parrott. Will we go back to Troy Parrott? Will we? Because
yeah. So I've got a question on you. I've got a view on Troy. Right. Just to go back on that then. Dutch football though is pretty shite at the moment. Like, is he just an exceptional player in that league? Like, because they're getting hammered, aren't they, in Europe and everything? Like, they're not great, these teams from the Netherlands.
Well, go ahead, Eagles beat Aston Villa.
Okay, exception.
But no, I do agree to a sense. I do think the league isn't great, but I do think he's shown he's a level above. The fact that he can go and play at a higher level, and people talking about if he could go to an Ajax or PSV, would be great. I don't think that's his standard. I think he's above. I think he's the best striker in that league. You could make an argument he's the most informed player in that league at the moment, and maybe he's a contender for the player of the season come the end of the year. And I think he's the fact that his next move after this is to a top 5 league and to a good top 5 league, whether it's obviously I think it's what's Premier League's rated number 1, Serie A's number 2, because of they had the top 5, didn't they? They used to have 5 Champions League places before Premier League got it last year, and so you'd hope it would be to one of the top European leagues because he's a superb player. But the standard of the thing is with the Eredivisie, Martin, the top teams are actually very good. Your Ajaxes, your PSVs, your
as Donny just corrects me there. PSV just beat the Italian champions Napoli 6-2. Yeah, I'm going to come on. Go on. I'm going to come back on that though.
The thing is, the top teams in the Dutch league are quite good. They are quite good sides. They are good sides, but when it gets lower and lower, and when it gets lower, when it gets lower and lower, it's kind of just peters down. But it's kind of a very mixed league. It's one of those. It's like the MLS as well. The teams at the MLS are very good sides, and then as it gets down maybe to the bottom, the drop off is quite big. It's just how it works in these countries.
My point on Donny Nagel there is rightly calling me out. Thank you, Donny, for that. Like Martin, PSV have just beaten Italian champions Napoli 6-2. This is something we'll have to chat on State of Play, which is we do on our Lansdowne Raw kind of part of the channel, which you can support $4.99 in any currency you want per month. Thanks for your support of that. We've got a number of subscribers on that. It's fantastic. Really helps the channel. But one thing I'd say on that, we're going to have a chat about this. The new format of the Champions League. I can't remember these massive scores like that as week in, week out. Some of these are ridiculous scores, aren't you? You're getting absolute.
Yeah. It's because you can move on.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it's crazy. And it is entertaining from a goals perspective. But, years ago, teams used to just have to get to, I think it was basically, you won 3 group games, you got through, didn't you? United used to just be able to sack off and play their reserves in the lot when United were in the Champions League, of course. So it is a different format. So we'd have to have a chat about that. That's my point on it, though. You get some teams, they get hidings, and it doesn't seem to matter. And I when I was looking at results, I just saw the Dutch ones were the ones that I was thinking. I think the likes of Ajax, a fantastic team back in the day, of course. But you're now, getting beaten. obviously that's breaking news there. Just for anyone here, Brendan Rodgers has resigned as the Celtic manager, but he's been replaced as an interim basis. Neil Lennon is the assistant to Martin O'Neill. There you go. The man.
No, he's not.
What? He is,
It's Sean Maloney. It's Sean Maloney.
Sean Maloney, is it?
You idiot.
What did I say? Did I read Neil Lennon? Did I?
No, you said Sean Maloney.
Sorry, Sean Maloney. Sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Celtic Symphony will be over the fucking moon. His profile picture on Everton is Martin O'Neill with his trophies when he was at Everton, won this treble, didn't he? Good man, Harrison. Good to see you on. My good friend Celtic Symphony will be over the moon with this news. Congrats, Celtic, if you're watching. He's not Harrison. He's out in the sauce celebrating. He's a madman. Celtic loves it. It'll be buzzing. He would. Sinclair Armstrong could score 100 goals right now in the end of the season. He'd still be buzzing because Martin O'Neill's a Celtic manager. So it'll be funny. But he'd be gutted though that Adam, because he loves Adam Edis, so he'd be gutted that Adam Edis didn't get to play under the great Martin O'Neill at Celtic. But it's funny though that he's gone to them, which has made me laugh. But in fairness, as much as I think he's a bit of a bluffer, no, I don't hope he does well. I was going to wish him best luck. I don't wish him the best luck. Yeah, I don't wish him the best. Yeah, I was going to wish him the best luck, but I don't want to be dishonest. I just wish him. I wish him well. I wish him well. Wish him well in health and life.
Benefits. We won't hear too much of him on TalkSport for a while, and
oh, thank God! I know. It'll be 2 weeks probably, and then Angel come in, and everyone will be praising Martin O'Neill. Oh, he came in, he won 2 games against Kilmarnock and the local butcher from down the road, and all of a sudden, Martin O'Neill, he steadied the ship. He steadied the ship so well, and he got it back on track. And what he done in those 2 weeks, they really changed the momentum. The thing is, he's not going to be the manager. It's going to be Sean Maloney. Sean Maloney's going to be doing the coaching. He's going to be doing all the tactics. Martin O'Neill's just going to be there in name of it, like what John Coleman was like at Waterford. He's just going to be there. But away from him, great to see Troy Parrott score 2 goals the weekend. Missed a penalty, which was awful. And he got in the Dutch team of the week as well, which is well worth saying as well. But congratulations to Mr. Troy Parrott. I'm sick of talking about Martin O'Neill. He just
congratulations to Martin O'Neill. Come on now, Connor. Pass on your congratulations. Do it. Come on. No, okay. Right. I think that's it.
He didn't get the job. He's interim.
All right, interim. God, see, this is a new word in football, isn't it? Interim. See, I think us Ireland started that. We must have had the first few interims. We went through. Thank you, Mark Cannon.
Man United had plenty.
Oh, we did have a few interims.
Ralph Ragnick, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ollie was an interim. Michael Carrick was an interim.
Giggs.
Giggs was the first interim at United.
Yeah. Oh, we've had interim Ireland managers as well, like Noel King, when we played in Cologne a few years ago.
John O'Shea.
Yeah, fantastic. So yeah, it's the time of it's the era of the interim. There'll be stats on that, won't there? Who's the most successful interim? Like there's got to be. It's like the most successful England.
No, it's Michael Carrick beat Arsenal 3-2 at Old Trafford.
And that's why I had a good record, didn't he?
Did he win one? But I know Michael.
Generally,
Carrick,
I'm just looking in football. There will be a man. Well, obviously, it's hard to.
Michael Carrick's 100%. Michael Carrick's 100%.
Yeah, but like Sam Allardyce's England record, weren't they? They won in the last minute, so he had a 100% record, but literally only won the game with a minute to go.
But it's funny. It's funny. I just can't believe my eyes. I'm in shock. I have a question for Celtic if he watches this back. Is would you rather Martin O'Neill not get the Celtic job at all, or Martin O'Neill get the Celtic job and sign Sinclair Armstrong in January? That's the question. Could you imagine? I think I don't know. I wonder would he suddenly become a Sinclair Armstrong fan?
Yeah. Well, we're going to come on to Sinclair Armstrong now because we're going to get on to OBIG, which is where we catch up with how the lads got on over the weekend. And here we go. We're going to start off with the goalkeepers, and then we'll have a chat about that. And then we'll go on to the defenders, midfielders, and obviously the attackers. So this is players who are eligible for Ireland in recent squads as well. I'm looking forward to the omission of one of these players who better not be in the squad, but I can't wait to see who it is. But here we go. Goalkeepers, here we go. So here come the goalies. Thank you to the 1,000 people watching this evening. Thank you for your support. Queeving Kelleher, 90 minutes in a 3-2 win. You've got 3-1 up there. Max O'Leary, unused sub. Josh Keeley, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win for Northampton under Jack Wilshere. And Mark Travers, unused sub. And Gavin Bazunu, an unused substitute as well. We had this chat again recently about the squad. Speculation. Josh Keeley playing again. Bazunu's not involved. Travers not involved. Surely it's time. Josh Keeley will have to be in the Ireland squad coming up for the Portugal game. And
Yeah, actually, I forgot that. I forgot Brentford only won 3-2. I may have put 3-1 for Collins. I forgot. I thought it was 3. I don't know why I thought it finished 3-1, but anyway, because Salah scored the second, didn't he? That doesn't count.
very late.
Useless bum of a player. But anyway, yeah, Josh Keeley, get him in the squad. I don't think it will happen. I don't have too much issue if he's not going in the squad in November because continuity and all that, and they'll be like, oh, what's the point? It's going to change. Kelleher's going to be our keeper. But I just think you reward as they're playing week in, week out. Bazunu's not getting any minutes at Southampton. Travers isn't getting any minutes at Everton. So the negative thing is that Bazunu isn't getting any minutes over a keeper that is really, really poor in Alex McCarthy. So like Bazunu's, what you'd say, his stocks are quite low at the moment. Like it's not going well for Bazunu at all. And then the way I would kind of look at that in my eyes is if I had to pick between one of the two who's going to drop out for Keeley, I'd probably have Bazunu drop out right now at this current moment, because we all know that if Travers went to Southampton in the morning, he'd be first choice keeper and he'd be absolutely excellent, because we've seen him do it so many years when Bournemouth got promoted, and then he unfairly got blasted out of the team when Neto signed that summer, but he was the best keeper in the Championship and he's adored by Bournemouth fans for what he done that season. He done very well last season at Middlesbrough for the second half of the season, which Middlesbrough win the playoffs and then they kind of went to the Dogs, but he was one of their standout players. So I do think if he went there tomorrow, he'd be starting every game and it'd be superb, which hasn't been the case with Bazunu, unfortunately, over the last 2 years, really, since he signed. I do think he needs to get out of that club because I think he's so much talent and he can be whatever he wants to be. He just needs to get really in a club that really backs him at this stage. But no, I do. I just think probably you take Bazunu out, take him out of the spotlight of being an Irish team, and let him sort his club situation out to play for his country, because that's the thing, you earn your club call up, or no, your country call up, your country recognition by performing for your club. And Keeley was excellent at the weekend. He got, 4 saves, he got an 8.1 match rating in their 1-0 win over Northampton. He his first Jack Wilshere's first win as Luke. So yeah, I would call, and the thing is Max O'Leary's not playing either, so it's not even like you can go like, Max O'Leary's not going to get a minute all season, to be honest with you. VTech that they signed for Man United on loan is class, so he's wrapped up that place. So unfortunately, Max O'Leary's going to be out of the picture completely as well.
Yep. Okay. Thanks for that, Conor. Right, we're going to the defenders. Robbie Brady still out injured for Preston North End. John Egan, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw versus Charlton. Seamus Coleman, unused sub for Everton. And Nathan Collins, 90 minutes in that 3-2 win versus Liverpool for Brentford. Matt Doherty, 67 minutes or not in squad for Wolves. I don't know what that is, Conor. Jesus. Joshua Honor, 90 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Derry. Jake O'Brien, 68 minutes in a 3-0 loss versus Spurs, where he had a goal disallowed. Andrew Omobamidele, 13 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Leon. Darrow O'Shea, 90 minutes in a 1-0 win versus West Brom. Liam Scales, 90 minutes in a 3-1 loss versus Hearts. And James Abankwah, 44 minutes and a red card, 3-1 loss versus Coventry. Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes in a 1-0 loss versus Derby for QPR. Callum O'Dowd, 63 minutes, 2-1 loss versus ZTE for Ferencváros. Mark McGuinness, 78 minutes, 3-2 loss versus Preston for Sheffield United. Ryan Manning, 81 minutes, 2-1 loss versus Blackburn. Aaron Cashin, an unused sub for Birmingham. Anselmo Garcia McNulty, 90 minutes in the 2-2 draw versus NEC. Will Ferry, 90 minutes in a 3-1 win versus St Mirren. And Corey Ndaba, an unused sub for Lecce. And that's your defenders.
Right. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what was going on there with the doc. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. I blame Dave. The original graphic was made by Dave, but he was not in the squad. I don't know whether he wasn't selected or whether the wrist surgery, because I know he came off, it was after 60 minutes the last game. So I don't know whether he was just dropped or whether the injury played a part in that. which I don't think we're too overly that fussed or that worried about at the moment. Obviously, Collins had a good game, I thought, against Liverpool the other day. I actually didn't think he had too much to do, but he was solid when he had to be. Bamidele only got, 12 minutes, but I do think he played 90 midweek in the Conference League, and I do think we're going to see his minutes start to ramp up now that I think is it like is the other centre half that kind of plays, because they played three at the back. One of them is called Decore or something like Decore, got sent off at the weekend, so he's going to be suspended, which means it probably I'd imagine Orsini is trying to play Bamidele quite like sparingly in terms of building up his minutes, playing him 90 minutes of Conference League and then giving minutes off the bench in the league. So maybe it's going to be, although there isn't any European games this week, I believe. So I think he'll just get 90 minutes or as such in the league, which will be big for him. Other defenders really bad weekend for Scales and Celtic, which obviously has led to Mr. Rogers resigning, which is interesting that he's resigned, not been sacked. James Abankwah given a red card after 44 minutes, which he was trying to make up for someone else's mistake, which was I think he was given a straight red, but I believe it's only going to be one game because it wasn't violent conduct. He tried to put a tackle in and he mistimed the tackle. He just didn't get the ball, took out Haji Wright, which is because he's been in good form. Hopefully it doesn't affect his place in the team. I think, was that Callum O'Dowda's first start in the Hungarian league, Prendergast? I think it was.
I don't know.
Because remember, he's been a lot of games.
On.
It's a lot of times he hasn't. A lot of times since joining, he's just played the European games and then just sat out the weekend games or off the bench. But other than that, it was quite quiet. I seen Mark McGuinness is getting a bit of abuse from Sheffield United fans. He didn't play that well. They were 2-0 up against Preston. I don't know if you've seen it on Friday night. 2-0 up and then ended up losing 3-2, and obviously he struggles. So not a good way. It's not good when a centre half gets hooked after 78 minutes. But So actually, Nick's just put in the comments worth saying midweek games in Liga this week. Andrew Bamidele would probably start. So he'll get he will. Nick, he'll definitely start. So that'll be a big step forward for him. And I do think if he play, the squad will be released next week. Actually, won't the Ireland squad will be next week because we play the week after. If he starts this Wednesday and starts at the weekend, I think he's a cert. No, I wouldn't say a cert, but you think if a lad's playing in a top 5 league at the third best team in France at the moment, and just probably in general, you'd say after PSG and Marseille, they are the third best team. So I would probably say he has to come back into the Ireland squad. And I do think they'll probably go on and be themselves, and obviously Crystal Palace will be the two favourites to win the Conference League. So hopefully he can just stay injury free. That's all we ask of him. To be honest, we don't even thing is we don't even care that much how he performs at the moment, how well he does, because the performances will come with playing week in week out for a player that ability. It's just playing week in week out without getting hurt, which is all we ask him. Or he will retire by 25, as Steve will say.
Yeah. I did see Jake O'Brien. I thought was very unlucky with the disallowed goal. I could understand why it was disallowed, but he took it well. A good little front post header, and that's something obviously you want to see him do in an Ireland shirt, of course. But I thought he was quite solid. I know they lost 3-0, but he was okay, I thought. But just that aerial threat is something that I probably expect a little bit more from Ireland in our games recently. So that could come into play, of course, at home to Portugal. So we'll be following that closely. Right, just on to the midfielders. Jason Knight is out injured still with Bristol City. Killian Phillips, 90 minutes and a 3-1 loss versus Dundee United. Will Smallbone injured for Millwall. And Jack Taylor, 77 minutes and a 1-0 win versus West Brom. John Joe Patrick Finn, 23 minutes and a 0-0 draw versus Troyes. Josh Cullen, 90 minutes and a 3-2 win versus Wolves. Brilliant to see. Finn Azaz, 90 minutes, 3-2 loss versus Blackburn. And Mark Sykes, 45 minutes in a 1-0 win versus Birmingham. Jason Malumbi out injured for West Brom. Andy Moran playing Wednesday. And Jamie McGrath, 90 minutes and a 2-1 win versus Aberdeen. Alan Brown, 45 minutes and a 1-1 draw versus... Who was that against? Wrexham. Boston Lowell, out injured for Stoke City. King Boston. Conor Coventry, 37 minutes and a 1-1 draw versus Hull. Joe Hodge is not in the squad for Tondela.
I don't know whether he was injured or not. because they're not the club that do much social boasting. So he went off at halftime actually in their cup game last week. So I'm guessing he probably picked up a knock, which is he picked up a couple since going in. He's been struggling with his whole career really. So hopefully nothing serious is going on there. But yeah, any of the midfielders tickle your fancy this week, Martin?
No, obviously cousin Will injured again. It's a bit disappointing because
he's out for a couple of months. He'll be out for months, months, not weeks.
Not good.
Yeah.
That's disappointing. But it allows someone else to come in that Ireland squad now.
Yeah. What about your London Irish community, Josh Cullen? You were singing his praises the other day. Dave wasn't too happy about his after he had another very good performance. Actually, he did give away a penalty. Must say that, but he generally did play very well against Wolves the other day. Are you very impressed with Josh Cullen? Because I know you're a big fan.
I do like Josh Cullen, and I think he's a really good player, and I think he's learned an awful lot from the first time he was in the Premier League with them. They've adapted as well as a I think he's been really, really good for them now. And yeah, I don't like Wolves, so I was quite happy with that result, to be honest. So I don't know why I don't really like Wolves. I know I just don't like them. I just think they've been hanging around the Prem too long now, haven't they? And they've been always.
They're not a bad. They're not a bad club. In fairness, they're not a terrible club, right? But on other midfielders, actually, Jack Taylor, his first start in quite a while, played 77 minutes the other day for Ipswich against West Brom, and I thought he was excellent in the middle park. Luckily enough, he didn't. Malone be injured. I think he's back next week. Actually, what was it? Ryan Mason said that Malumbi actually hurt himself for the Ireland games, and he's like, it's one of those things where when you're playing for your country, your adrenaline's up, and you don't actually realize you're hurt. He says Malumbi didn't realize that he was actually that bad, and then when he went and played the first game back, the injury, he realized he was injured, so he missed the midweek game and missed this weekend's game. So hopefully he'll be back next week. But it shows a lot of passionate playing for his country. John Joe Patrick Finn actually
he's suspended though, isn't he? That's the thing
he is. Yeah, we spoke about this, but we had to pick 24, 25 men. John Joe Patrick Finn made his first appearance since August, which was a surprise that he was even in the squad, and because he's been not in the squad, like he's been fit, he's been training, just hasn't been picked. I don't know whether I didn't look too much at whether he's worked his way back in or someone's injured. But and even like Alan Brown, he played 45 minutes the other day because he played 90 minutes of 2 games before that. And it was rotation thing. He came on at halftime, and he's absolutely loved at Middlesbrough. He was supposedly excellent again off the bench. They were 1-0 down. They got back to 1-1. And I think he's in a real good place to come back into the squad, because I was thinking Taylor might drop out because he's quite like for like. But if Taylor's starting for Ipswich now, I do think he'll keep his place. But Smallbone will come out, obviously. Malumbi, as we were talking about, 25 men is probably what you have to pick, because Manning and Malumbi, like, you don't want them missing out, because like, if we have a massive game to go in a hungry way, like, they have to, like, Manning you can like for like, because if O'Dowd does well in the first game, for example, he'll keep his place. But Malumbi, you kind of think is probably given to come back in. But like, obviously, I want Andy Moore in the squad. But like, there is others, like Conor Coventry's doing really well he only came off the bench as well, but it was more rotation as well with him. Exact same thing as Alan Brown, because a lot of minutes this time of year, isn't it, when the Premier League or the Championship, where you're playing twice a week. Sometimes teams are playing almost 3 in 9-10 days. But other than that, Finn Azaz actually the other day, for Southampton, played in the midfield too. They played like a 3-4-3, and he played beside Shea Charles in the midfield too. He had a 7.5 rating on SofaScore, but I don't think he had a great game rating. You can see confidence is really affecting him at the moment. Southampton has really not been hasn't hit the ground running, which he didn't do, in fairness, when he first joined Middlesbrough. It took him a while to get going, but when you're playing out of your best position, like you're playing him quite deep, I wonder what is the situation like.
Yeah, interesting, of course, that one. Like, we know what player Finn Azaz is, and I think he's got a massive part to play in this still, because I think we want him to do really well, don't we, of course. But it is interesting, even that we were talking about Evan Ferguson earlier, he's on a yellow card as well. He's got to be very, very careful with that, on the people who are on bookings, on how we manage that. It's going to be essential, I think, for Heimer to get that right, and be disciplined. And it can just be a stupid kind of innocuous kind of challenge, can't it? You can imagine, like, he has a little tangle with Ronaldo, and because it's Ronaldo, we'll book him. that kind of crap can happen from these referees sometimes, so heavily influenced. Right, we'll get on to the attackers.
Oh, wow.
Here we go.
Just by the way, Dermot
yeah.
Desmond's put out a very scathing
Wow.
statement out about Brendan Rodgers because Brendan Rodgers had lack communication and Brendan didn't communicate as well, so he's not happy with Brendan Rodgers. It's way too long, to read out, but
yeah. Okay,
you'll
well,
have
I'm
to
sure
read
we'll
a bit
cover it
after.
on all our
yeah.
we'll cover it
Mad,
on.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to? Because certain people say, he represented Northern Ireland, so he's
Of course we can.
he's not, but he's Irish. We all know he's Irish, but
He's
potential
definitely,
future Ireland manager.
without doubt,
anyway,
yeah. So we
you
have to have a
can
chat
move on
about
to
it.
attacker. You can move on to attackers if you want.
Right, here we go. The attackers. Firstly, Abasele, unused sub for Istanbul. Evan Ferguson, unused sub, as we said, for AS Roma. Adamida, 11 minutes in a 2-1 win versus Norwich for Swansea. Casey McAteer, unused sub for Ipswich Town. Troy Parrott, 75 minutes, 2 goals, missed penalty, 4-1 win versus Utrecht. Sammy Schmodix, 21 minutes and a 1-0 win versus West Brom. Sinclair Armstrong, 74 minutes, a goal at last, 1-0 win versus Birmingham. Mikey Johnson, 90 minutes and a 1-0 loss versus Ipswich. Rocco Batta, 85 minutes and a 3-1 loss versus Coventry. Tom Cannon, 9 minutes and a 3-2 loss versus Preston North End. Chidozie Ogbene, 63 minutes in a 3-2 loss versus Preston North End. Michael Femi, an unused sub for Bochum. And Tyler Goodrum, not in the squad. Neither am I. Oxford United. Adoma Mabaki, 1-0 win versus Leicester. Johnny Kenny, 60 minutes in a 3-1 loss versus Hearts. And Louis Barry, 27 minutes in a 3-2 loss versus Preston North End. So you might as well add me to it. I'm telling you. You might as well.
I'm going to have to leave him in now because he will, whenever he comes back in the fold,
there's more chance of me scoring at Lansdowne Road than him. I can tell you that in the next 2 years.
But Martin, did anything happen with the attackers this weekend?
Yeah. Oh, this was brilliant to see, and it was absolutely fantastic finish, wasn't it? Sinclair Armstrong, a long time coming. We know he's got it in him, and I'll speak to myself, but I think we're very similar, and I've used him. He just offers us something different. He's a powerful player, runs in behind, and if you give him that space, he was just kind of clinical, I think, and hopefully that is something he's really, really working on. I've heard Irish, scouts and coaches talk about how they were trying to really encourage Obafemi to kind of work on his game so much, and he kind of did to some extent. But I think Sinclair Armstrong, he's just such a big unit that you've got to just think he offers us something totally different. That you could just imagine him coming up against fullbacks or centre halves and just smashing the hell out of them, and just being a massive physical presence. And it was fantastic to see him get a goal and absolutely buzzing off it as well. He's a player who really appreciates the support of the fans. When he was at QPR, I remember he gave Declan Finnegan, long-term supporter of the show, of course, Riss London, former chairman, and involved in so many Irish supporters groups, of course, helping people with tickets and things over the years. But he always spotted that Dec had the Irish R's flag. And when he scored his first goal for QPR, he gave it to Declan, and they had a lovely interaction, I remember, at that time. And he's always been very respectful to the fans, and I've seen him actually afterwards, doing another selfie with the fans of Bristol the other day to celebrate that goal. And hopefully it's a starting, kick-start it, won't it, Conor? I think he's definitely a shout for that squad. For me, definitely.
Call him up and start him. Start him. I'm telling you now, Martin. I've said this for at least a year. What happens when we play the likes of Portugal? We go to Hungary away. You play Sinclair up front against these sort of teams because he is so unique in the type of player he is. We don't have a player. There's very few strikers around Europe like here. He is unbelievably fast. He's ridiculously strong. He's an outstanding athlete, and he has football ability. People like it just because he doesn't go that many goals. He links up well. He holds it up well. He batters defenders. The first thing he always does, you'll see it every week, when he gets a chance in the first 2 minutes of the game, he will go to 50-50 and he will nail someone to shoulder. I've seen him do it to goalkeepers before just to really get the crowd going, to get Everton going to start a game. Yeah. And everyone loves it. And to see his turnaround in the last 3 weeks has been exceptional, because it's been a real tough, you'd say, 12 months for Sinclair, because he hasn't got his goal. He could see the confidence start to really affect him not playing every minute of every game, and then he lost his place in the starting 11, and he looked a shadow of himself. Really, that bit of like enthusiasm that he always had in his games seemed to be lost. And like, he's the sort of player like you usually say, oh yeah, who's a joy to watch? You're like, oh, I'm an Andy Moore type player, or a type of like number 10, like a David Silva, or yeah, like Yamin Lamal. But Sinclair's just the polar opposite, but he's so good to watch because he just gets you so enthusiastic, because you see he just gives absolutely everything on the pitch, and he's so different. He's a battering ram. And I seen Bristol City fans say the other day that the goal Sinclair Armstrong scored the other day, only Sinclair Armstrong will score that goal, because the ball he put in behind, he shouldn't really have any right to win it. Like, give him any space on the halfway line and he will burn you. He will kill you for pace, and he will do you. And he done them, and he opened up his body, and he didn't look like a striker that was lacking in confidence. And you see it because the last 2-3 weeks he's been playing really well off the bench, which I've actually said on here. And he's turned it around, and there's no surprise that the goal has come, because you put the work in and it comes. And you can see what Sinclair's like. He can tell he puts effort into football, and football is his life. And that's why I think he'll go and play a very high level. And maybe he'll never score 20, 30 goals a season, but what he offers is so unique, and it's so different anything else in Irish football. I even said it after the Portugal game away from home. It was the perfect game, just to, no matter how he's playing, just pick him and just tell him to go for. And the amount of balls he would chase, loose balls he'd chase, and I can see a defender like Sinclair, Armstrong, like Ruben Diaz, who is obviously, he's a brilliant defender, but he doesn't have the pace that's near the pace Sinclair Armstrong has. I could imagine him in Dublin getting the ball in the halfway line, knocking it past him, or someone puts the ball up and scaring the life out of him. And because the thing is, they won't realize how scary he actually is as a player until you're up against him. You can see the manager saying how much of a monster he is. I seen Rob Atkinson, the centre back, saying about when he plays him, he batters him every single day of the week in training, and he's so glad that he's now doing it to defenders. And he said when he's at full flight, he's so scary and he's unstoppable. So it's just the sort of thing. Portugal at home in November, I don't care how well Evan Ferguson's playing, he will have. The reality is, Martin, he's going to have no effect on the game. Troy Parrott's going to have no effect on the game. Adam Eada's going to have no effect on the game. He's not playing for Swansea really at the moment. It's not going to suit them. I know people know, but the thing is, Adam Eada has the physical presence to play that sort of role, but he just doesn't run. He won't do that hard graft, and he's not even going to try and like hold up the ball as much as what he used to. Like, he's just changed his game, and they all try to drop short. Having an option to go in behind. And like, could you imagine like I know it sometimes if you say somebody like, oh, you've got Fessy, Benny and Sinclair, I do think the balance there is right, because it's kind of three quite, they all want to put the head down and run. Like, you need someone with a bit more, maybe put the foot on the ball, might need to slow it down and put their own authority in the game. But I do think if you had him and Fessy in the counter attack against Portugal at home, I think it could kill them. I do think he's just so unique. And what he offers us, he's not going to score a load of goals, but what he will offer us in terms of winning free kicks, getting past the last man, getting defenders booked, putting them a bit wary, will get us up the pitch so much more than we think it will, especially with how we know that Heimer sets up. But the thing is, it's very negative. It's haram ball, as people like to say. And like, the thing is, he did pick him. I know people saying, oh, he probably won't pick him. So, but if you think back to March, we played Bulgaria, and he put Sinclair in the squad for that. When Sinclair wasn't reality, he wasn't scoring goal, and he wasn't really starting for Bristol. I know he was still playing well at the time, but he wasn't starting, and he hadn't scored in 3 or 4 months at that stage. And now, like, I think if he scores another goal between now in November, I think which actually is going to be this week. If he scores again this week, which he will start, like, because he scored the other day, I think you have to put him in the squad. And I would have him in the squad anyway, Martin, because I just think he's so unique. And sometimes, as we like to say, there's horses for courses. As I said with like Andy Moore, and I think with a game like Armenia at home, he should be the first name in the team sheet, because he's going to have us on the front foot and playing like that. That's not a Sinclair Armstrong game, which it kind of actually ended out in the end. It probably would have been a Sinclair Armstrong game, because we never knew their manager was going to park the bus against Armenia at home. But that's another story for another day. But like, these sort of games, like, I just think you have it's not, the thing is, like, it's going to be it would be a lot of pressure on the lad coming in for his first start again. But I think he would just love it, and he'd thrive. And you see him before Ireland games, how much playing for Ireland means absolutely everything to him, and it is his biggest goal in football. And I just think that give the lad that, show him the faith and show him the confidence that in these sort of games, maybe you're not going to score the goals that Evans scores, you're not going to pick up the ball for 40 yards and smash it in the top corner. He will just help us so much more than people think.
I think it's a fantastic shout. I agree with you completely on that. I could have seen us doing that away in Portugal. Some games do suit certain players, and throw him in. Like he's absolutely nothing to fear there. And he is absolutely frightening from that perspective. He's just so direct, and I think that's just a key thing that, like, I think like the higher level, and I'm not being disrespectful to him here, but the way the Championship is as well, and what he offers, none of those. I can't think of anyone who does that in the Prem. That is just that, just
The
that directness.
closest that what you'd say maybe like is that kind of people, because people always hold it against him, is like Nicholas Jackson sort of thing, or even like a Darwin Núñez sort of thing, or even like a Mikel Antonio sort of thing. I think Antonio doesn't have this, but like they're so fast and so direct, and like that nuisance value that they provide kind of is quite dead in modern football, because everyone's so technically to the highest level, especially at the highest level of football. But you see those sort of players, and Nicholas Jackson must be an absolute nightmare to play against. Thing is, the reality is, people are like, oh yeah, well, who'd you rather play against, Sinclair or Evan Ferguson? The reality is, you'd probably rather play against Evan Ferguson, because Evan Ferguson might pick up the ball for 40 yards to smash in the top corner, or he might score a outrageous finish off his left foot, but he's not going to scare you like for Sinclair is, because you have to worry about him going in behind or him picking up the ball and run at you, and like he can drift out to the left. I think you could even play Sinclair Armstrong left wing and be all right because of the pace and power, but we all know he's a 9, like. But yeah, I just think like there's, because like even say like Obafemi is not like, Obafemi is, there are different types of strike. Obafemi can do that, but like it is mad, like, because the thing is, you can tell Sinclair just works so hard in his finishing. You can just say like, I just think that if he starts scoring, he will just take off to a level that everyone's gonna be so surprised by, because he just has all, because people disrespect his like hold up play and his link up, which is, the thing is, his hold up play, his first touch sometimes from dead balls, like taking it from there from a goal kick, is exceptional. And we all see him when he was playing for the 21s, and he looked like a sort of player that was like, even like when you look where Amelia was last, like at the moment with the 21s compared to where Sinclair was with the last campaign, like Sinclair was a few notches ahead right now. So I just think that the sky is the limit for this sort of style of player, and because what he can do for us, like.
Yeah, the difference he offers, I think, is the key thing for that. So, yeah, like brilliant chat, and great to hear how the lads are getting on, of course. And Conor, thank you for your insight into that.
And
Dave,
we forgot to mention about
anyone else we've forgotten?
Any other forwards? Come on, Martin. You can't just talk about Sinclair the whole time.
Oh, I can talk about Sinclair.
I'd never do that.
I watched I saw a little bit of Mikey Johnson. I saw a bit of that game. He kind of was okay, just nothing special.
You forgot to mention the big thing at the weekend, which I know you want to talk about, is the Sammy Smodics abuse.
Yes, yeah. So he played. What did he play? 13, 14 minutes and stuff. And we've spoken
minutes. I think he played. Yeah,
27 or something. Yeah, like, and this is something. I think you've had a few comments here, perhaps calling you out here, but when we've spoken about Sammy Smodics in the past, it's been from frustration on. I think we're asking the views, as we're kind of sharing the views of Irish football fans. We've had lots of people going, well, or even just reporting from what we've read on X and Facebook and things like that on posts, where when it has been frustrating for us seeing Sammy Smodics be injured for Ireland, pull out squads, and then seems to be okay to play. Now it's evident he's been managing this injury. I think he's come back, hasn't he? Irish fans have kind of called him out a little bit, and he's engaging a little bit with that. I've seen an interview today saying, he's been, how frustrating it has been for him watching his teammates go out and play for.
But this interview though, that was during the summer. That was
during the summer, wasn't it? Yeah. But I think it was shared, wasn't it? And it's probably appropriate that it was kind of shared again, I think. So, but yeah, like, I think one of the things though with it is just this. Look, and we're guilty for it as well. We're chatting all the time, hyping up players, talking about them, wanting them to be successful, not recognizing in the background there's other reasons sometimes why players, aren't always playing and things like that, aren't selected. That could be contractual injuries, anything, family stuff's going on as well. But I think, it's just where the abuse crosses the line is the thing. And, that must be very difficult for players. I know that interview might have been from the summer, but he says he speaks to psychologists and stuff. our Ireland players, I do worry about their mentality sometimes, because we've melted against England. Yerevan, we melted after 10 minutes. Can we cope with the game, the challenges that brings? And again, I think we've always got to be backing the players ultimately. Yes, we can criticize them and scrutinize performances and stuff, but I think we have to always be positive and support them, call them out, of course, but ultimately it's the frustration. We want them to do well. What's your views on that, Conor?
Yeah, because actually people would be, because he commented actually on my Instagram post the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, Martin. He commented on my Instagram post. They said that people, because actually I put out, well, actually it was actually a positive post, so it wasn't direct. It was
Yeah,
a lot of a lot.
yeah. Gavin says this here. Just I want to put up Sammy Smodic, Gavin Clark, a Raw plus subscriber. Sammy Smodic spikes back at the undue. Sammy smearing on Rep Trackers Insta, and a little laugh emoji. Any thoughts, lads? Should we be building our lads up instead of assuming the worst of them?
Yeah. Because I put up a post about that whenever he was taking injections, which he has, I know he said to someone in DMs who was calling him out, which I don't think I don't think he should reply to people, in all honesty. I just think he's better off leaving it and putting out a public statement, which I think he may do. But yeah, he commented on it to say that some people know more about him than he does himself, which is quite a scathing thing, because a lot of people commenting sarcastic about, oh, he's on a school run, oh, he doesn't want to play for Ireland, don't call him up again. I just think we just have to leave him, because let him, whatever his issue is. The only issue I have with him, in all honesty, Martin, is the fact that it's clearly he's injured, which we all can understand that he's got an ankle injury, and now actually he's got a knee injury. It's the fact that he was named in the last Ireland squad, which changed then to say he was injured, which I believe he was getting injections or something, sure, in the international break, which ruled him out. So I just think he should have been never named in that squad to start with. And like, whether you think he's good enough to be Ireland squad or not is a different story, because we just have to, but it's the fact that people are calling him out and saying he's faking injuries and stuff. It's like, because we actually talked about it on here, and we were saying about whether he's injured or not and stuff. And I think we all got a bit over the top in terms of presuming there's something more to it than just being injured, when the reality is he just is injured and he's carrying an injury and it has affected him. Which obviously we would think, like, as what our natural mindset is, if you're playing through an injury for your club, you can do it for your country. Some, when your club pays your wages, it's a different story. But it is, the abuse was ridiculous the other day. It was getting to a stage where it was getting embarrassing. It's like, we can't just presume the worst of every lad. And the problem is, when it is, we presume the best, and then it goes negative for a lad. Somehow it's always Rep Tracker's fault for when a lad does it goes badly for a lad, or it's everyone's fault for, oh yeah, hyping him up like it's Evan Ferguson. It's like, oh, everyone hyping up is all these people. It's not like Gary Lineker and Micah Richards and Alan Shearer were talking about him being the second coming of Christ in Match of the Day, which takes it to another stratosphere where my comments don't make a difference anymore. But it's just,
I think, to be fair to kind of what we do, we are talking about the lads, and that's the kind of the ethos of our show, I suppose. Like, we're going to be giving insight into how the lads are getting on. We want them to do well. You know, when people are called up into squads, or even, you know, playing as we go through OBIG there. Before I was involved in this, I think I wouldn't know where half these players were playing, how they were getting on. I think that's one of the things we try to bring to everybody. But, you know, there is such great interest in Irish football as well. And I think one of the things maybe why Sammy got the backlash on it from Ireland fans is the frustration of the results, because we know that he's a player there. There was lots of speculation back to the Kenny days as well, I think, let's be fair, because, you know, he wasn't making himself available for squads then. There seemed to be a bit of a fallout, lots of speculation, rumours coming around. Now, I know that's rumours, but then when he's come into the squad, we're expecting so much. He probably has struggled to deliver on that, and he's been played out of position, as we've spoken about. But, you know, we need to know, like that. I maybe we're not entitled to know, but I'd have more sympathy for him if he just said, look, I've been managing an injury. Well, I don't really see what's the problem in hiding that. You know, we've heard Malumbi. We've heard Malumbi that has an injury. We know that Josh Cullen played injured with a hamstring injury recently for Ireland.
Ferguson as well, yeah.
You know, O'Dowd has a massive frustration with his injuries, and he's pulled out loads of squads as well. I don't think it's them not wanting to play for Ireland. And I would also have I think, who are we in a sense? Like, we can't go down that argument as supporters to ever say, well, we deserve to know because I go and watch Ireland, spend thousands of pounds watching Ireland around the world, and you should tell me. I don't think that argument's ever justifiable for any abuse you're offering. And but I think it's just frustration. We know there's a player there. He seems to want to play for Ireland. He's speaking the right way, but I think it's just that we want to know. But that's the we're not really entitled to that now. I mean, there's bigger arseholes in football than Sammy Szmodics. I can tell you that now. And I think he could deliver for Ireland without a doubt. And I think we've got to be very careful with because I think some of it comes down to, oh, well, he's not Irish. He could have played for Hungary. He could have played for England and stuff. I think you sometimes get that argument with it. I'm never comfortable with that one because
he picked Ireland over Hungary at the end of the day. Hungary wanted him, he picked him, and he wanted to play. And he said that he feels Irish. And the thing is, he is. You can tell he is a down to earth fella. Like he constantly does reply to DMs in a positive sense when people DM him, and he seems to be a nice lad.
Well, he loved it, didn't he? When he was in what was it? It was in Yerevan.
When everyone was saying his name, because after he did it, because he actually was wearing a boot after that, and he must have got injections. So, it is. Because the thing is, it is quite tough on him now because now he's probably going to feel like he's not welcome in the Irish setup because of.
I think he'll be fine. To be fair, he's a footballer. He's got to be thicker skinned than that, and he might have a path.
The thing is, he didn't. Thing is, he kind of was a very late bloomer. Like he came through Colchester's academy, where there's no real. It's not the pressure if you came through a Premier League academy where you're treated like a god from day one. It's kind of all been very late for him, and that's probably why he's so down to earth and so open what he says. So I just wish that he probably came out and said something just to shut everything up, because even though we all know that he is injured, but like when it comes from the horse's mouth itself, it's a lot better. Even though Kieran McKenna said he's got injections, but it hasn't been from answering the Ireland point of view. But hopefully people can just move on. And
again, it comes down to, if we'd have won them games, O'Connor, no one would be going, oh, well, it's a shame Sammy Szmodics not part of that. It wouldn't be a problem. But because we're desperate, I was thinking he's going to be a key player in that game. And it's like, you just like, I
don't know. I think the big thing is, it's the big thing about going back and playing that first game back after.
That's another.
That's what's really annoyed people. I think more than that would have not been, because there's been no explanation on probably why he's gone back and played the first game after missing. But like the thing is, like, he's 30 years of age. After, if he's not in November squad, which maybe he mightn't be with this knee injury, his international career could be over really before it's even started, because once you get age of 30, if we don't qualify, we could be looking into who's the next player to come in that role. Is Andy Moore are we better off bringing Andy Moore in for the long term? They're bringing in a 30-year-old. By the time the next year comes around, he's going to be 32. Will he be still playing at Ipswich, or will he be going down the order? So it's one of those ones. It's like his career could be overstarted, but I hope for his sake that, because everyone representing Ireland is what everyone dreams to do. So hopefully he can turn it around.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd say on that is, he's got to be thinking about his future, his family, and everything contractually, like with his club. He's got to be thinking, he's got to manage that injury. His body. We've seen players retire from international football because they've got to protect their long-time career, haven't they? So that's just nothing. But yeah, look, I think the abuse isn't called for, and I don't think, to be honest with you, Conor, I don't think we've ever been promoting that. It's just we've been giving the views, and then the frustration comes out. I don't think we certainly would never be promoting that. So, and I think back to even now, our Matt Doherty, the frustration with Matt Doherty is another player gets a lot of abuse of Irish fans. But he's got the perfect get out now, because that, he didn't play in Yerevan. He wasn't picked since. And that's going to be an interesting one, how he treats whether he's in this squad or not. The next one, that's one I'm thinking is a really intriguing kind of story. Look at in the lead up to the next games. Right, we're going to come on towards the end of the show now. We're going to get to the bit where you're the star of the show, and this is your comments. So if I can find a little video to do the intro for that, that'll be really good. Right, thank you first of all to 1,500 of you who are watching this evening on our X rep tracker. Do give Conor a follow there if you want to see the interaction with Sammy Szmodics, especially on there. And also follow us on @LRaw_pod, and obviously subscribe to the show. Really does help us. And we haven't mentioned it this evening, but I'm going to do it now. Looking forward to November, aren't we, Conor? Because we're off to Elland Road to see the Jack Charlton stand in the flesh, but also hopefully pick up the best international podcast at the Football Content Awards. Anyway, thank you if you did vote for us, and we'll obviously keep you updated on that. But here we go. The first comment of this evening, because we did start a little bit late, In the spirit of Dave, this is from Clem Fandango. Pull your fingers out. And then we had the Irish Madman saying, "Evening, lads. Thoughts on Ferguson's struggles at Roma? Covered that already, but yep, hopefully he will be back up again." Nick's referred to the mystery Pantella injury flaring up again. Who mentioned the Pantella injury back in the day?
Rolling Stone, wherever he's gone.
Wherever he is gone. Stephen O'Rourke also says, "Hey lads," and Nick, one of our Raw Plus supporters, says, "Knight, Malumbi, Smallbone, and Lowell are all injured now. Who would you play beside Cullen?" And then question mark Taylor.
Probably would be Taylor, wouldn't it? Like, but Boston could be back by then, but I don't know. Like, would they throw him straight away?
Debut in there?
Yeah, not even just like a first cameo off the bench would be his full debut would be his debut. So yeah, it probably would be Taylor. In all honesty, like Brown could be an option. Knight. I don't think Knight won't be back. So yeah, it looks like it looks like no, he's not a deeper midfielder. He's a number 10. Like.
Okay. But yeah, I mean it's a struggle, isn't it? Would they do what they did at Wembley, Conor, and play Nathan Collins in centre midfield? I'm not going to go there. Some people still think that happened. Kevin O, we've spoken about that one. Franco, how you doing, Frank? You're all in California. Parrott wasn't ready for Portugal. Ferguson was the best bet. That's just talking about who we should have started there. And we're just speaking about the tickets. I got a bit of information about the Hungary away tickets where your ID will be printed on them. And Frank rightly says, we have heard about not getting in and ID checks being checked for years and years. This will be the first of our IDs are really checked. Yeah, if you've ever been to World Cup or Euros, I think pretty much that's aligned to your tickets. You know, you've got kind of ID kind of stuff printed on those, but it's never ever checked. It's not really practical to do so, but this is something they have said is happening in Hungary, and they've quoted all this kind of statutory law over there. So that was it. The Irish Madman. This is just talking. He should be loaned to the Netherlands at this point to regain form and fitness. Is that about Evan? Or
probably, yeah.
Yeah. And then just Kevin O also says, in regards to how we set up against Portugal, Heimer set out for a 0-0, so anybody could have stood up front. And then positivity streaming through here. Stephen O'Rourke, we can pull a win off against Portugal. Franco supports that, saying 6 points. Yes, Conor, come on, you boys in green. Don't even ask me how much money I've spent following Ireland. True. And Stephen O'Rourke also says Ireland have pulled off these mystery kind of results in their miraculous, results in the past. And he says we did it against Holland, Germany, Wales, and we would do it against Portugal.
Did you see the thing actually I seen on Dave's account on Facebook? It was Jason McAteer. Someone put a post up the Germany team from last year, and he was like, what a team this was. And he commented, we beat them 2-0 away.
Yeah. The 19, that was just after the 1990 World Cup. That's the kind of kit they're wearing in it. But yeah, we did. Yeah, we beat them. They were a fantastic side. I think a similar kind of kit around 94, but we travelled over there. They will know the year for certain. But yeah, brilliant. That kit was iconic as well. Stephen O'Rourke. Oh yeah, we've done that one. Donny Nagel, guys. Any ideas if Lowell be fit for games in November? Quickly, Conor, we spoke about earlier.
I actually don't know, but someone said they think 2 weeks.
So yeah, Nick just comments there and he says Stokes news saying Lowell will be out for another 2 weeks. He might make it.
But
and Nick also says 2 weeks. Great goal by Big Sinks.
I actually don't know. Do we have Canny? If he's 2 weeks, that means he'd be back probably next weekend, which means that the squad would already be announced, and would Heimer bring him in?
No.
Will Stoke let him leave? I don't know. So Heimer talked him up a lot in the last camp, but we have to see it to believe it.
Yeah, it was June where they should have been doing all that kind of stuff. Aaron Cubbins, well, lads, great to listen to you as always. Very impressed with Alan Brown and the team who are flying it. Has to be in the squad. I rate him. He also says Sinclair Armstrong has loads of potential. If he can improve his finishing, such a joy to watch. To watch, very aggressive and pacey. And then he also says, will there be spare tickets for Portugal game? Lots of people looking for Portugal games tickets.
Conor Coventry actually is an option to play deeper as well. Conor Coventry. He's an option, but would you play 2 6s like that? But it would be a debut for him.
Mm. Oh yeah, it would be. Yeah. So it's mad, isn't it? Really, like, but I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy thinking about it. I mean, we kind of thought we had kind of a bit of strength and depth there, but I think players will be
They're all
available.
injured. Yeah.
Declan,
Andrew
what's
Moore,
happened? Andrew Moore,
play him deep,
yeah.
play him deep, play him deeper.
What's happened to Benazar, says Declan, this season, lads? Surely got to be a confidence thing.
I think it is, yeah. He struggled to adapt, really. But he did the same as Southampton, as I said earlier. He struggled to adapt, at Middlesbrough when he first went. And then all of a sudden, once he got like 1 or 2 goals, he kind of just was sliding. Like, they spent 15 million on for a reason last year. Most goals and assists from a player in general, overall. So yeah, he has so much ability. It's just about getting really that confidence back, because he was playing in like a midfield 2 the other day. They literally played a 3-4-3. So literally they played 2 midfielders, and he was one of the 2 midfielders. A bit like the Ireland system, a bit like playing him beside Cullen. Like, so you're never going to get the best out from doing that.
Yep. Gaelic Edits goes a little bit political here, saying, congratulations, Catherine Conley, on getting in as a new president. I think the right choice, and the voting statistics resemble that. Yeah, I mean,
Can you vote from London, can't you?
No, I didn't. I couldn't vote, no.
Can you not go over or do you have to be is it you have to be born in Ireland to do it?
Yeah, I'd have to be a voter, wouldn't I? Taxpayer and all that kind of stuff, I'd imagine.
Oh, do you? All right. Oh, I thought you could just go to the embassy and vote it if you had to buy a passport.
No, I don't think so.
You would have did a spoiled vote anyway and voted for. I seen someone voted for Liam Scales.
Oh, I mean,
I wonder if anyone voted for Rep Tracker.
Yeah, well, what a job though, isn't it? Going to I hope she's into football and stuff. She'll be going to the games now, won't she?
Yeah, she's doing the keep uppies.
Oh, there you go.
Tell you what, it's the easiest job in the world.
Oh, that's great.
The Irish presidency is the easiest job in the world. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. And all these things and stuff. I met Michael D.
Did you?
Moment. I met him. Yep. Met him at a Club All Ireland final.
Did he say you are that?
Did
he say you're that Martin Prendergast from the podcast?
I was in the hardcore, which is a decent kind of bit, and he's walking up from the kind of pitch or something up to at half time, and I make sure I've got a photo of him shaking his hand. Class, lovely man.
Class.
I've never had a conversation with him, but
just said hello.
I would like to, because it's supposed to be really interesting man to chat to. Well, he's mad at football, isn't he? Mad into football.
Yeah.
Stephen O'Rourke says, we missed a big opportunity for a tournament when they let Mick McCarthy go and Stephen Kenny took over for the playoffs. I 100% believe Mick would have got us there. That's a great shout.
I don't know. Did we not win one game in that whole qualification, though?
Yeah, but I think...
I don't think the manager didn't do it. The players let us down. Conor Howerhan missed an open goal, and then the players lost pen. That game... Didsey was unbelievable. That game, he put on the plate about 3 times for lads. But that game was the easiest, most set in stone win we should have ever got, and we fucked it up. The reality is the players fucked it up that day. Like, no matter what anyone says, and then we would have got to the final. We were all hoping we were going to play Northern Ireland in the final, but actually that would have been very nervous. As I say, if we get to the playoffs and we play Northern Ireland in a final to qualify the World Cup, I will be shitting myself. Because could you imagine we lost to the North and they went to the World Cup instead of us? Like, I'd be crying my eyes out.
Yeah. It might happen.
James Agnew wouldn't know who to support.
And Aaron Gubbins here, also speaking about us not making the World Cup since 2002. Do you think it's fair that the likes of Cape Verde and many other countries play all these nobody countries and make it to the World Cup when all in Europe have it harder?
Well, we get more spots, don't we? I think to even it out, don't they? Because we have the hardest draw. We get the most amount of spots in the World Cup. So no, you have to give these countries, like if they're playing in their continent and they get less spots. It's like, what part of Asia were like Iran and Saudi Arabia qualified? They only got 2 spots. So yeah, I think it's evened out fairly.
I think so. Look, and it's spreading the gospel of football, isn't it? Like Cape Verde.
Yeah.
I mean, like Costa Rica, they were in the World Cup 1990, and they brilliant book actually called World in Motion. And they talk about the World Cup 1990, and Costa Rica, I think they beat Scotland, and there was a national holiday.
Brian Ruiz playing.
Oh, that's 1990. I don't know.
And when
I remember
he was playing.
He was playing a lot later, wouldn't he? But that So it just shows you the power of the World Cup. I mean, that's why it's heartbreaking. I haven't been there since 2002, and I think they've made it easier, haven't they? And but we, so close to qualify. Like when you look back at it, it's absolutely heartbreaking.
Even the Denmark playoff, even though we got battered on the day, the second leg, Sayers Christie should have had us 1-0 up going into the second leg.
Yeah, but the 1998 World Cup, like the playoff against Belgium, Ireland got back to 1-1 after the first leg, and then got back to 1-1 in the second leg, so it's 2-2, and then Belgium scored again. We've spoken about this. I think we've done a retro episode on it, or we certainly will. But we covered this again. I think it was under Mix. We might have done it on a retro one, but basically, then at 2-1 down, you're a goal away from the World Cup. That's all you needed. We needed 2 away goals. Like we needed one away goal, and we would have been through it. And a goal to get knocked out just by a goal. And I know that we had the heartbreak with the handball and things, but with Thierry Henry, which I will never forgive, and forget. I will remind my Arsenal mates about that all the time. But when you're a goal for the World Cup, it's just incredible, and what a lift it gives the country. That's why it's criminal that we've not been there for so long. Right, Donny Nagel. I make it Cullen, Taylor, Brown, and Coventry as our only fit midfielders right now for Portugal. Hope Laurel will make it. Yeah, I mean, I think you know what, they're looking at it more like that. Brown is going to be. I'll be monitoring his fitness, to be honest, because been there, done it. He could come in there and do a job there, couldn't he? In that midfield, I think. And but Knight, is he certainly still out? Isn't he? He's out for a while.
Yeah. It's like 6 weeks, another 6 weeks or something.
So yeah. But I'm just thinking of any of our centre halves. I'm not. I mean, I know I jested earlier about Collins, but like anyone come in there? No, I suppose. Catherine Conley could play centre mid, good technical skills. And then Aaron Cummins also says, unfortunately, Ferguson's time at Roma is up. Thought he would have at least scored a goal.
Just Aaron, calm down. There's only about 10 games in the season and he's been injured the last 3. Calm down, Aaron. But we're only on 17 likes on the YouTube stream at the moment. Get us up to 30. There's 1,700 people watching us right now.
Yeah.
If you're on Twitter, which I know a lot of people are, move over to YouTube and leave a like, or you can leave a like and go back to Twitter. But if you're on YouTube, leave a like as well.
Come on, do it. And thanks for watching where you are watching. But yeah, get over to YouTube and watch it there as well. Just get on your phone. And also you can go back through the back catalogue and see all the fantastic interviews and all these other videos that we've done over the years. Right. Donny Nagel, I've seen Dewsbury Hall play all season. He'll be lucky to keep playing for Everton, never mind England. I don't know if that comment would have been made if he'd have said, yeah, I'm going to play for Ireland.
Yeah, definitely not.
Aaron Gubbins, also very disappointed with Rovers and Shelburne. God, that game was awful. Riera is some prick. How did it start again? Oh, yeah. How did all that start?
All last year. Because Riera was talking about Rovers being like the style of football they're playing in the way leg and stuff, and when it wouldn't shake Bradley's hand after. So,
yeah, he was classy, Bradley, on it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I do like Bradley. I mean, I know he spoke, didn't he, well of the Derry fans for singing his son's name, didn't they, during the game yesterday as well. So class. Right. Come on, Matt Ula. Yeah, is that right, Connor?
Yep. Yeah.
Hi lads, how's it going? Gutted about the KDH situation. I understand it is his country, but he is 27 now, won't get any younger. He is a good player, but England have better options in that players in that position.
Yeah. So. But he's an Everton fan, so he's extra good at that way.
Right, yeah. Franco says there were a lot of horrible comments about Irish kids born abroad on social media over the weekend. Both myself and Martin have sons who were born abroad but love this team as much as any Irish born. Very true, Frank. Yeah, agree completely with that. That's obviously I'm referring to my son there, Rep Tracker Kean, the real Rep Tracker. Come on, but oh well, at least I got the graphic posted before the news broke out.
He did, yeah. He made the graphic of in the Ireland shirt of Dewsbury Hall. Funny enough, he posted and then Everton released the quotes.
Aaron Gubbins says Stephen Ireland was playing in the Ballers League as well as Clark. Do you follow a bit of that, Connor?
No, I don't.
He put a bit of an idea of that. I did see Kieran Clark, didn't I, during the summer?
Yeah.
I chat with him, and that's what he told me he was doing. He says it's basically, he said it's great money. will these last 2 games be Heimer's last game, says Aaron Gubbins. Well, they will if his contracts were not renewed and they're absolute shambles and don't qualify, basically. I mean, there would be an option to extend, but technically, yeah, it's the end of November is contracted. Yep, so that's it. Tony President, absolutely appreciate Dewsbury Hall for what he said. My real gripe with Grealish and Rice is they stopped some lads from even getting one Irish cap, which would have meant the world to them. Yeah, agree the sentiment there. I mean, man of the match in every game, Declan Rice. Dad was absolutely buzzing, and Antalya in Turkey after in the bars having photos with his shirt and everything that night. I mean, when I see Declan Rice captain in England and saying, yeah, it's absolute dream, stuff like that, I do think back to him kissing the badge of the under-21s when he made himself available from the senior squad and played. So that was it. Come on, here he is again. It was great to see Azaz sing the anthem. Anyone who's against the granny rule players should have a look at themselves in the mirror. These players massively contributed to our World Cup run.
I think the term granny ruler does work negative as well. They're just Irish. If you just call them Irish, it'll work more in your favour.
And just on that, I mean, we love covering retro stuff. I've seen a fantastic interview. There is a clip. I'll find it and we'll post it on Raw on our Twitter. And it's Jack Charlton being interviewed by a kid and saying, you know, do you think they're like, you know, it's in the old Lansdowne Road, saying, do you think like lots of people are very critical of your team, they're mercenaries? It's actually a kid asking the question for some kind of journalism kind of show thing, like News Round or something. And he says, you know, they're Irish, and they're Irish because their parents had to move away or family had to move away. And that's something we can't be like. We're a very proud nation of all the success Irish people have around the world.
Yeah.
And yet we knock it when we have players who can be eligible for us and they're not born in Ireland. So it's crazy. Yeah. Aaron Gubbins, Troy is on fire. Great to see if he could bulk up, as he's a big club in Europe next season. Would love a Champions League club. Possibly, yeah. Donny Nagel, I think the majority of the All our fans love all the players, although a few morons, not any morons, a few morons ruin it for us, though. Yeah, true. And it's funny, like, look, as a English-speaking, London-born Irish fan,
well, we all speak English here.
Oh no, but we get the odd, you know, you get the odd comment, accent. And you just think, like, are you not? Why are you here? Jesus, and yeah. Put my medals on the table. My appearances. Put my caps on the table, Connor. I'm still working it all out. On my footballogy. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Love that. Jesus. I don't think I want my wife to know how many games I've been to over the years. Jesus, she starts calculating it, how much it costs per game. Kevin O says, remember James McLean was a pundit on RTE and he said Declan Rice was overrated. He never appeared back as a pundit since, thankfully.
I think
Kevin
he did.
He did, yeah. He has been on.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah,
I love him. It's
just because it was during the Euro. No, it was during the Euros. He was doing it, and
that's when he was on the
puncher. Yeah.
Oh, he's an unbelievable player, Declan Rice. Not having it that he's not brilliant. I mean, what he should be doing with us.
Just a prick. He's just a prick.
And then Kevin O, this is in relation to me not knowing who was alongside Paul McGrath at the World Cup, because I had a mind blank, and it was Phil Babb. That was the first World Cup, obviously, he was called up to. The Three Amigos with Kelly and McAteer. Tony President, going back as far as 1981 following Ireland, with a huge support of London and Birmingham Irish. Like yourself, Martin, you were brought up with Irish culture, so you were just as Irish as myself. There you go. Lovely comment. Come on. PSV would be the perfect club for Parrott, in my opinion. And then we were just chatting about Dutch football being shite. And then I got corrected a little bit later. But even Ajax, Weghorst is shit, says Aaron. Kim On says, Ajax are a shite side. Can't see how it's upgrade to Alkmaar at this stage. And Aaron says, yeah, but there's a huge club still playing Champions League as to Alkmaar in the Conference League. No-brainer. Kim On also said, Jason told me the same thing about Ferguson. Hopefully he starts scoring for Roma. And this is just chat about where, obviously, Troy Parrott's been playing. We were also chatting earlier about Evan Ferguson and should he start against Portugal. He's on a yellow card, so we'd definitely save for Hungary, says Daniel. And then we brought you the breaking news about Brendan Rodgers, who's resigned this evening.
You can skip that if you want, because we've already spoken.
Yeah, we've done all that. Yeah. We spoke earlier as well. Interim managers. Bit of insight here from some of the Raw faithful. Dohi says Don Gibbons had a stint or two as interim. I think he did. Yes, he did. And most fantastic under-21 manager I ever saw against Cyprus in, I think, 2004. He sat on basically a garden furniture chair, right? Chair, like a garden chair, basically, that you'd have in garden plastic, wherever it was, and he didn't move. And watched the under-21s. Willow Flood was playing at that time. Do you remember Willow Flood?
The ball he fell out Man City.
Yeah, he was at one. Yeah, he was.
I don't remember him playing him, but I always see stuff
up in Scotland, didn't he? I think he's an agent now. I think. Nick says Roberto Di Matteo won the Champions League with Chelsea as an interim manager. He did, yes. Kieran M just chatting about goalkeepers. Travers is a wasted talent. Kim On says, I'd like to see Melia get a call up. I'd say he's on the same level, if not better than Kenny. Anything in that, Connor? I mean, the under-21s have got games, though, so it's not likely, is it?
Melia's not getting called up.
No. And
especially when Sinclair's doing well.
Yeah,
when Sinclair's doing well, he's not getting called up.
And we will obviously have all these senior games covered. And obviously we'll have a little bit of feedback from the fallout from the women's game tomorrow evening as we record against Belgium, the second leg of their playoff. But let's not forget as well that Ireland are playing in the under-21s against England at Birmingham Stadium, aren't they? So
St
looking
Andrews.
forward to that, aren't you? St Andrews, yeah. So you can
I'll
still
be
get
there,
tickets for that, I believe.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Are you going?
Not sure. I don't think so. I'll just be back from thingy, and it's a bit mad. And I'm certainly not going if Caroline's listening to this. Harrison D, I can see Rogers being interested in the Ireland job, especially with a more or less guaranteed Euro spot. He's done a lot of mileage in the game and might like the laid-back international scene. I mean, the thing about this is why it's an attractive job as well. Okay, Ireland will be in that Euros anyway. Commercially as well, that contract as an Ireland manager, that financially what Ireland can offer for a manager, but you are offering you're not just offering a contract for that you are our manager. It's all the little add-ons of that, because there'll be massive money coming into Irish football from that Euros. There will be, so it's what they pick up on the back of that as well. So it's very financially.
And the bonuses, the bonuses you get for qualifying for the great qualifying campaign you'll go through, which obviously will qualify.
I mean, that's what. Let's not be. The FAI got to be banking on that. We're there at that, and what it's going to come with, and what it's going to give to the country. But interesting, I think, wasn't Roy Keane talking on the overlap about wanting to be the Ireland manager or something? And I didn't really watch it yet, but I will.
Welcome.
Don't say that about Roy.
No, not in that sense. I mean it like just like he's not getting the Ireland job. Like, I like Roy Keane, but he's not getting the Ireland job. Like,
Tony Nagel says, how O'Shea is ahead of Omar Bamatelli or Scales in the team is beyond belief. Doesn't like that. He doesn't like O'Shea, does he?
No.
And Kim On says Scales is just as bad as O'Shea, in my opinion. I'm going to filter a little bit because we've been chatting a long time this evening, and we've gone through a lot of these comments already. Where are we now? Right, good question. This Mike Fitz, this is about the under-17s, obviously going off to the World Cup in a few weeks' time. Outside of Jaden Uma and Michael Noonan, who do you think will stand out for the under-17s at the World Cup? Who's going to win it for us, Connor?
You tell me. I don't know anything about these players. I think Roy Finneran will play a massive part, and I do think that Victor Ozenvuna could play a big part. It depends, because he could play 5 at the back, he could play 4 at the back, but I could go through the whole team. There's so many, but I think because how key Roy Finneran is at number 6 in midfield. I think outside of them two, obviously, because Jade Newman's the type of fella, he could win the tournament for Ireland by himself, but how good he is and what he can produce. I can't wait for it, and it's going to be the first time since last November that Michael Noonan has played with the under-17s, so it'll be interesting how he comes back in and bet him in, because there's going to be no warm-up friendlies as such ahead of next Wednesday, which I can't wait for.
Yep, and we'll have it all covered, of course, on our socials and things, just to give the feedback from the tournament and coverage, of course. And it's going to be on RTE as well, which I think is fantastic, isn't it? They're going to show a lot of games, and I think it was quite clever. I think was it you who said this, or did I read it somewhere else? We've got to be calm though with these players. The pressure, they're probably on social media now. Some of these young lads, and it's getting carried away with them. They'll address that hopefully with the FAI and have support from FIFA.
Hopefully,
and
the
things like
commentators on this aren't as harsh as what they are with the 21s. That's all I have to say. When they make mistakes
Yes.
or to do something, but in
Yeah.
reality, is we should all get a movement going. Get Rep Tracker on TV for these
that. The under
because
17s. Fly you over
who
there.
else would you want on TV for it? I'd work from home for them.
Jesus.
It's want to work from a studio
Oh,
in
yeah.
Dublin. Get
There you
Rep
go.
Tracker in.
There you go. I'm on the percentage of that fee, am I? Kevin O. Casey McAteer shouldn't be in the next squad as he's not playing. Heimer said this after dropping Coleman. Sinclair should be in instead.
Great. I don't get these picking 3 right wingers anyway. Why are you picking 3 right wingers? It makes no sense, even if they're all playing and they're all world class. There's no point unless one of them's going to play at the left. I do think, actually thinking back now, it was very strange that he brought on Smallbone for Ogbene in the Portugal away game because we were never going to get a foothold in the game. It was pointless, and he put Smallbone out like the right hand side of midfield. Surely he would have brought McAteer on for that bit of pace and athleticism because when you bring on a player like Smallbone, it's naturally going to push us back a bit defensively. But I can't blame him too much. That goal wasn't his fault.
No, I mean, still have reservations on that. Taking off Seamus 5 minutes, switching around the back 3, 5 again. And from being so close to the dugout, you could just see John O'Shea, Paddy McCarthy, screaming on every corner defensively of just kind of shuffle, and it was just all to kind of cut off kind of line of pass. And you're thinking, how come they don't know that and what they're doing? And it just unsettles everything, doesn't it? After a great defensive performance, just get the point, see that out. But anyway, we're very disappointed and think about that one. Kevin O says, totally agree with you. Oh, no, sorry. Damian Nagel says, no, in our management, Sink won't even be in the squad. Sinclair, obviously. Kevin O, totally agree with you, Conor, about starting Sinclair versus Portugal. And then Kimon says, fair play, Conor. That's a good take. Armstrong reminds me of Prime Obafemi.
Don't make me sad. I miss Prime Obafemi. Well, doesn't even get off the bench for Bachman at the moment. I'd imagine he's not fully fit or anything yet, but just a bit sad. What a player, what a waste of talent.
Yeah. Oh, don't be going down the route of him. He did. Oh, if I stop myself the right way. Him and Didsy, you do get a bit carried away now.
No, I've never said. But I'm just saying Obafemi is just such a waste of talent. That's what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, a waste of talent.
He should be. He's such a waste of talent. He's an unbelievable player, just such a waste of talent. And he did have. He scored the best goal probably at Lansdowne Road, or you could either say he assisted the best goal at Lansdowne Road, both in the same game. And he had that unbelievable goal against Armenia as well. So he had more moments of magic.
He could never go back to back though, could he? He could never play 2 games in a row. So there's a lot.
Body never held up.
Yeah, just didn't. Even after that Scotland game, he was out of the squad. AX_2, should Vata be brought up or left with the under-21s for England? He'll have to be with the under-21s. I'll say leave me the under-21s. He answers his own question. We'd rather him there playing 0 minutes if we are realistic.
The thing is, Heimer actually really likes him a lot, I know. And he's playing every minute of every game, which I think would have put him in the squad last year. He just wasn't doing that. And then he scored last midweek, which obviously we spoke about on the roundup midweek last week, and he's doing really well. And off the left-hand side, it's only really him and Johnson as our options. Obviously Louis Barry, but he's not doing well at the moment. And maybe you take McAteer out and bring in Vata for him. And then that's a like for like in terms of position-wise. But then it's we all want to see Sinclair in because we all know he's a different type of player. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he'll do.
Okay. AX_2. Okaflex is doing well in Bulgaria.
He is. Yeah, he's doing very well. 5 goals in 6 games. Good to see him doing well. He's such a talent. Just hasn't gone right from so far. He's at bottom of Plovdiv where we played them. Were you in? You didn't go to Plovdiv, didn't you?
No, I didn't go to Plovdiv.
Yeah, I actually love Plovdiv. Good memories. Plovdiv, great city. Go back again. But he's actually doing well. But actually, I'm just thinking there. Vata could come in for Smodics either, because Smodics plays on the left hand side for us. So maybe he could come in there.
Okay. And he just says, I hope he can turn it around because he's betting at that level. And where is Kevin Zeffy? What a waste of talent if he doesn't get it together. Where is he?
Where's Zeffy? No, he's training with someone at the moment.
Okay. All right. Good luck to him. Again, talented player, so we need him. We do need him to get together. But you never know. People can turn it around. You don't know what's always going on in the background. Aaron Gubbins, I'm just really disappointed with his performances because right now, to be honest, he is no loss at this time. I don't know who that's in relation to. And then Nick's has played Schmollick's behind a striker, not on the wing. This is us just talking about that. Obviously, with this breaking news this evening about Brendan Rodgers resigning as the Celtic manager, we're covering it because obviously he could be a future contender for Ireland, and also Martin O'Neill's gone in there as interim. I hope Rodgers, for his sake, keeps away from the Wolves job. They are definitely going down. If he took that job, which I think he will, it will further damage his managerial reputation even more. Gaelic edits. Armstrong definitely does have a good attitude. Players with South American or African heritage are far more appreciative of the position that they are in than others and never stop working. Ogbene is a great example. He far exceeded his ability level. He would have been laughed at 6 years ago if it was said he would play in the Premier League.
I think his Armstrong's ability is a level above Ogbene's, really. Like Sinclair had the positive of he came through the best academy in Ireland and then went to QPR from when he was 17, I believe, and also was in that full-time environment from then. And he played for Shamrock Rovers B team when he was 16. And then with Ogbene, it's not surprising Ogbene lacks technically and football brain wise. Maybe understanding of the high level. Doesn't have a bad football brain, but like came through at Limerick and Cork City. It was Cork City, wasn't it? And then played for Limerick before going to England. So like it is, especially back that many years ago, coaching isn't what it is even now in Ireland. So yeah, you guys not surprised. Like Sinclair definitely has the ability to go on and achieve what Ogbene has done and a lot more.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I love Ogbene though. I think the story's amazing, and he's a very humble guy as well.
Really. Oh yeah, he's one of the best press conferences I've ever been at. Was with the one he done.
Yeah, fantastic. Nick says Cape Verde finished top of their group over Cameroon. They would have qualified even if it was still a 32-team World Cup. Michael Keaton says, was there a national holiday in Ireland in 1990 when we beat Romania on penalties? I don't think so. No, there wasn't. But like what I'm saying, in Costa Rica, there is a national holiday every year. It wasn't like having a celebrationary day. It's every year because of that. Aaron Gubbins, I agree. I'm glad they did too because Pico is with them, and also great to see a small nation make their first ever World Cup. But apart from Cameroon, I met this taxi driver in Lisbon who was a Verde fan. Name some nations I didn't even know.
But the problem with that, Aaron, is if you go to Cape Verde or you go to like somewhere else like Congo or somewhere in Africa, like will they know who Liechtenstein are or San Marino or Faroe Islands or who else is Gibraltar? Will they know these countries that obviously we all know them because we're used to playing them, and Irish people are well educated, but like these other countries are like some of them wouldn't. It's just that we kind of know all the European countries, but I wouldn't say it's kind of there's a lot of really weak opposition in Europe like that we don't speak about that when we compare, but it's just the best of the best are obviously from Europe, like.
Yeah, and it does not. It's not cyclical, but it's just a massive investment in some of these teams, and that does happen. Their coaching and their players, and even how the profile of them in Europe and stuff. Like we were in Portugal recently, weren't we? Went round Benfica Stadium, and the museum's incredible. And you got Eusebio talking about that, and absolutely fantastic. But Portugal did really, really well in the 60s and stuff, World Cup 66, things like that. And Eusebio was a Ballon d'Or winner. But, for years then, struggling kind of thing, when they came to Ireland, like they weren't in I think it's Euro 96 qualification. They weren't like Ireland were top seeds in that group, and they were coming to Dublin and would have been happy with a point. Like, look how it's turned like that. Ireland was so good then. And then they had like Rui Costa, Figo come through the development of their players. And look at them now. It's just winning Euros, Ronaldo, Bruno, incredible.
Won the last two Nations Leagues.
Yeah, they're incredible. But then the profile just happens and all the coaching, and it's such a massive team now, and one player can kind of bring that a little bit, I suppose, because Eusebio certainly did it with them back in the day. Aaron also says, how many tickets Portugal getting for the game? I wouldn't know. They get 5%, I think, officially of the capacity. Baylor, I think this is meaning Sinclair Armstrong might actually be a decent footballer.
No.
He means skinhead.
He shaved his head. He looks mad.
Yes.
He looks mad. It's actually funny. All their fans, like, I seen when they released this or the thing, everyone just started commenting Baldy ever buzzing that Baldy was starting because he just it just I don't know what must have been. He just said a new look was just funny because I speak to one of his mates and he thought it was just funny. Like, it was just mad. He just shields his head. I don't know why. But did you actually see the Bristol City admin made the thing of? I sent it in the group chat. I think of him like with the Ballon d'Or, and then there's the one of him of the Tom Brady lying on his bed with posters of Sinclair Armstrong on the wall. It was unreal.
That is funny. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Eugene McGreever, breaking news: Brendan Rodgers resigned Celtic. I think Angie's going to come back. Gavin Clark, fair play, lads, and your response to the Schmodic stuff, lads. You can see he gives it his best when he plays for us. Would be great to see him link up with Andy Moore for Ireland as he did at Blackburn. Alan Green, Matt Healy for defensive midfield.
No, not just too much of a step up. Like,
yeah. Baylor, even if Sinclair is picked for the squad, he won't play. Then he says, he scored the best goal at Lansdowne against Switzerland. Shane Long slightly under. But Parrott should definitely start over Ferguson. How can a player who has 11 goals in 9 games not even start for Ireland in 2025? A very good point, Nat. You know, the form, but then he's a different type of player, isn't he? That's the only thing. But it's Evan just offers a bit different in how we play. I think he probably suits us at the moment of how negative we play. That we have a lone man, and that's where we're probably talking about Sinclair Armstrong offering something different again. Aaron says, yeah, I know. I suppose that's true, Conor, to be honest. Just make an excuse why we haven't been to a tournament in so long. Only tournament I saw us in was 2016 as a team. And I spent more time praying England don't win. Yeah. I mean, England are blessed, aren't they, with that talent coming through? And
breaking news.
Go on.
Martin O'Neill has appointed Keith Andrews as the set piece coach of Celtic FC.
God, imagine that. Oh dear. I was thinking about this, like, well, just to finish the show, and obviously the news are breaking there that Rodgers has resigned as Celtic, and Martin O'Neill's gone in there as interim manager with Sean Maloney. But like future, like Robbie Keane, Celtic link, Duffer,
maybe Duffer.
Duffer was there. It's an interesting one, isn't it?
I don't know. Like, I think they'll just get Ange back. Maybe Ange, because Ange could come back really now, but maybe Ange wants a break till the end of the year or something, and it's maybe he just wants a break from management. But we've seen stuff say that he would happily come back to Celtic. So I don't know. We'll find out. Like,
I might see Ange the weekend. I'm just saying.
Why? Where are you
going? His son plays locally against a team, Wingate, like under 8s or something, under 7, I think he is. But he played in up in where we're playing on, where my football team's playing on Sunday. So you never know, he might be around there. He's often there supporting his kids. So if I do see him, I'll get a hi mate. Did you know that Ange was in the, when Man United went to the Club World Championship and they were hammered because they missed the FA Cup? Yeah, remember that back in the day?
Yeah.
Ange was part of I think he was a manager of one of the Australian teams in Melbourne, I think.
Really?
Okay, little stat for you.
Thanks for that.
There you go.
That's my useless bit of information for today.
Yeah. Aaron goes, are you staying with each other in Budapest, the Three Amigos?
We fuck.
Jesus, fuck.
We're not saying there, Dave. Don't. The one thing is, the one thing I've learned is do not trust Dave for hotel recommendations.
No, not at all. Anyway, thank you everyone for your support this evening. Just shy of 2,000 watching again. You can catch this episode, of course, back on Spotify. And if you do listen to the show on Spotify, please do give us a like and a rating. That really does help us. We haven't got enough ratings on Spotify. Trying to build that platform as well. But YouTube, make sure you subscribe as well. This is the essential viewing point for all Irish football fans, the most interactive Irish football podcast out there. You can see the amount of work Conor puts into Big. When it goes right, it's all on him. When it goes wrong, it's on Dave. I just ask the questions, but we will have Ireland football covered across all levels, including the under-17 World Cup, which we're really excited about covering in the next few weeks. We've got the games, obviously, in November at home against Portugal on the 13th of November. Then we've got the under-21 game against England in Birmingham at St Andrews on the 14th. We'll be covering that as well. I think Conor's going to be going over to that one. And then we're all off to Hungary on the 16th to see if Ireland can pull off a miracle, beat Hungary, qualify for that World Cup playoff. And then if we do get there, we're off in March on our travels again for two games where hopefully we will see Ireland qualify for their first World Cup since 2002. But we have it all covered here. Thank you for your support.
No, we can't qualify.
I'm not finished yet.
But you've
I didn't. I just said
mistake.
No. I didn't say
you
that.
Said
I said
March,
qualify for the playoff in March.
No, you said our first World Cup since 2002.
Yeah,
in November after we beat Hungary.
No. If we get in March, I think after this
Okay. Sorry, boss.
All right,
sorry.
we will be going off in March again on our travels for 2 games to see if we can qualify for our first World Cup since 2002. Thanks for interrupting. Thank you, especially to our Lansdowne Raw supporters as well. It does make a massive difference to what we do. We love doing this, myself, Dave, and Conor, and we hope you're enjoying all the content we put out there. It does take a lot of work, but we obviously do it because we obviously love Irish football. We know the FOI listen. We know we hammer you guys at times, but we do appreciate your support as well of what we're doing. And thank you to all the media communications kind of people for their support as well, because they let Dave and Conor go into the press box there where we bring you the pre-match aftermath.
They're not going to shag. They're not going to shag you, mate. They're not going to shag you.
And as Conor was alluding to there, Plovdiv earlier, we may have in 18 years' time from that memorable visit to Plovdiv, we may have an Irish eligible player on the back of Conor's exploits over there. We don't know, but I think that's what he's alluding to. How he enjoyed the play so far. Anyway, thank you for your support. Final shout out to Frank in America, who is going to be hosting me, and that's where the Three Amigos may well be staying next year. Although I'll have to
Dave is now welcome
along with me as well. But we will be there covering everything. Thank you for your support. Do make sure you follow Conor at Rep Tracker. As I said, does a fantastic job upsetting the senior players, promoting the younger players, and we'll have everything covered for you. But yeah, thanks for watching tonight, and have a great week. We'll catch up with you on the League of Ireland and all the other shows that we do during the week. But thank you for your support. Come on, you boys in green, and come on, you girls in green tomorrow.
Of course.